If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. If you go up to the loft today, you're sure of a big surprise. 'Cause every train there ever was has gathered there for certain, because today's the day that Jenny does the Monday Club. Yay!
Wow, that's getting old. But hello everyone, welcome to the show. It's Monday night, 7 p.m. UK time, and that can only mean one thing, that you've slept in late. But also, it means that the Jenny Monday Club is up and running, and it's great to see so many people in. So a big hello and welcome to all of you. And today, extra special big welcome if he is watching it, as he probably isn't watching live, but may well be watching it on catch up. But a super congratulations to Simon A.C. Martin, who has proposed to his girlfriend, and she said yes. So absolutely, good work there, my son. Good work. And congratulations are in order to Simon A.C. Martin.
We'll drink to that.
Yes, we will.
Congratulations.
With the beverage of choice tonight, which is a Diet Coke.
Not for me. I have a mocha.
Oh,
or a mocha, as some people call it.
Ah, the hipsters.
I like it. It's coffee and chocolate in one.
Yes, what's not to like? But today, actually, we were doing a little thing in the comments, and
Dawkins already spotted the TARDIS.
Well, of course he has. Of course he has. And I swear that boy rocks up and he's like got some kind of computer, computer program. Beep, 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 beep.
He's got a Statenheim.
A what?
The TARDIS summoning device that the Doctor has in the two Doctors.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
What were you doing in the chat, sorry?
I was asking people to guess what we had running. So, we have a Princess Royal, which is going around in the blue. And that was actually, somebody did request last week. They said they really wanted to see one, so I promised that I would put one on the tracks for today. Brockwell Lane also correctly guessed that there would be a Class 25. Not really a difficult guess, but it's there. There's 25052 just going round. You'll see it on your screens right now. We also have, and I'm going to try and find the right button, so I might just catch it on the screen. Yes, just bottom left. We do have the Railway Children pannier tank going around on the innermost track. That's the Great Northern and Southern Railway brown pannier with the matching coach. It's only pulling one coach because it's quite a steep gradients, and it seemed to be a little bit unhappy with two. We also have the only Class 28 to receive Rail Blue. In fact, it's just gone off the screen there. So let's try a different view and see if we can catch it as it comes round. But this is the Hellion Class 28, which will be popping out of that tunnel any second now. And that's D5701, the only 28 to get Rail Blue. It does actually, I think it really suits that livery. Here it comes out of the tunnel, and also we can see there. Oh, we're about to be bowled by the Class 25, you naughty, naughty thing. We also caught a glimpse of the Railway Children 87XX pannier tank locomotive going around. There's the Princess Royal. What else have we got? I think that's everything, isn't it? Yes, that is everything. So,
you've got a question here that you'll love.
Okay.
Ben Tullett says, Jenny, why isn't your back scene sky bright blue like in the Railway Model magazine? The images they have taken of the layout look good. Yeah,
they actually make it look half decent. That's because Photoshop.
They basically cut out the back scene, didn't
they? They cut out the, in particular, where we've got the roof sloping down. They don't necessarily look the greatest on camera, so the photographer very, very carefully photoshopped out the angled back scene. So actually it did a really good job at making my model look great. So a big thank you, to not only to the railway modeler and the photographer, but also to everybody who's gone out and supported the magazine and bought it for that article. Hopefully we'll put a nice big spike in their circulation figures, a spike that goes upwards rather than disappears into the ground. And I might get invited back to write another article at some point. But I hope you guys all enjoyed that. It was nice to actually see Weir Yard in print in a magazine for the first time. Actually, it's not been in print for forever in a magazine. Really nice to see it there, and also really nice to see the track plan, because I don't have a track plan. I know people do ask sometimes, do you have a track plan that you can share? And my answer is always, I don't like drawing such things. But actually, I did scrutinise that track plan. It's really, really good. There's only one small error, and if I go to, I think it's this camera angle, you'll see a point just above my head there.
You want to see a point?
Yes.
There's a point.
No. Just above my head, that one there, where my finger's pointing to. That point, and its corresponding other point round here somewhere, got missed off. But apart from that, actually, they did a really good job. So, let's see, who have we got in the house? Gosh, 252 people. Don't forget to tickle that like button. Deep breath. We've got B2000 RO Toys Channel, David Cook, Jay, Ham Shackleton, Alejandro, Valencia, Perez, Skipsy Trains, Flymer Chairman 1, Will the Train Spotter, Melchester Model Railway, who asks, is it the February or March edition of Roman Modeler? It is the March edition that has just gone on sale. Marin Garvanovic says, a bit late tonight. You're not late, actually. You're pretty much on the money.
A Monday clubber is never late, nor are they early. They arrive precisely when they mean to.
Indeed. Angel Share Model Railways, Brian Stone, Clive Cobalt, Hayden Warrape, Keith Pointer, Robert Ward, Paul Gorton, Christopher Evans, Ben Tullett, Iron Horse Heathen, Ian Turvey, Andy 1962, Crystal Penguin, J. Paul Anderson, Simon Trains Model Railway Showcase, Patrick Ling, Poshington 01, B. Mozer, Gone Loco, who says, hi Jenny, Zoe and Monday Clubbers. Simon, you should have bought a new train rather than a ring. Congrats. Oh, I don't think he would have remained engaged for long with that. It's like, I would have bought you a ring, but I bought a train instead. Messing about with models, loves a blue rat. Talking about class 25 there. Roof Railways as well. Says, I smell a rat. Yes. The smell of diesel and hot electrics. King Fox Junction, Charlie Grinnell, J7802, Brockwell Lane. Michelle 78 says, I have the same class 25 in my fleet. It is a great 25 actually. It's the Bankman 25052. Factory weathered, and I've got it fitted with the DCC Concepts full-on stay alive system. So it's got the biggest one, which is something like 8 1 farad capacitors. I think they're either 1 farad or half a farad, but there's certainly a lot of juice in there. And actually, when I kill the power to the layout, if I just switch it off, it just keeps going and keeps going. It's almost quite scary to see how much juice that locomotive stores, and it does mean that it's an incredibly reliable runner. Who else do we have? We have got Robin Slewer, Wamgok, Monkey Plays 123, who says, not sure if there is one, but I would love to see a Peckett. Maybe next week. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pecketts that I can see up there on the shelf, but there's none on the layout at the moment. Melchester Model Railway, Johan Swanepoel, Princess Royal, they say, with the sparkly eye gif. It's a lovely one actually. It's the one in the BR Blue, the most modern one that Hornby have released. And if I find it and press the button, it is fitted with sound as well. So really nice piece of kit that. Hayden Warrape, Patrick Ling, Mike Finch, Moreland Model Railway, Andy, Z Fantasy Train, Southern Train Girl, Daniel Kiersey, let's have a look, Matty Matman, gosh, we have got loads of people in, Finbar Mitchell, Thomas West, Will Tucker, DL Warren, Larry Rogers, King Fox Junction, Amtrak Junction, J94, Mark Wilson, Bangor U Junction, Carl Brond, Garthian, of course, Captain Park Junction, Sean Inkpen, Vatten Demonen, It's My Model Railway, Paul Gorton, Logan Clary, Bagnall Dave, Ruben Ashwell, Daryl Hearn, and Steve the Sweep I like transport. Big hello to you too. So loads and loads of people in. Don't forget to share us on social media. And talking about social media, big news of the day is that the announcements for the Model Rail Magazine Awards for 2020 are out. So if you haven't already seen those, I do have them up here somewhere. So let's take a look through the Model Rail Awards. Gosh, I'm tripping over my words at the moment. I need a slurp of the beverage of choice. Oh, that's nice. So we've got a few manufacturers actually doing very, very well. So Hellion got the O-Gauge Locomotive winner, #1 for year 2020 with their Class 50. Which I've seen nothing but good things about, and Hellion did post shortly afterwards how proud they were that it did that, and also reminding people that there is another batch of Class 50s on their way in O-Gauge. So if you have missed out already on what is the O-Gauge model of the year of 2020, then there are more coming available. Although Daypol got the O-Gauge Manufacturer of the Year, and that is well deserved, as the O-Gauge range from Daypol, they should really be credited as opening up the O-Gauge market with some amazing models at what's actually some really good prices. I know I've got quite a lot of the Daypol O-Gauge wagons and locomotives, and they are all absolutely brilliant. And the fact that they can come to the market in some cases for less than what double O-Gauge locomotives are coming to the market at, it really is a good sign for that particular scale. So deserved win for Daypol there. When we go to 009, actually, this was a locomotive that I gave a glowing review to because it is very deservedly so. So it's really great to see that this particular model won the Model of the Year in 009, and this is the Manning Wardle, the Linton and Barnstaple Manning Wardle. I've got one of those. Rails of Sheffield very kindly lent me a number for review, and I was actually, it's one of those reviews where I was so taken with the model that I arranged to keep one of them. It's like, well, I'm having that. That's a really good model. And I actually built Minith Tatus out of some bits and pieces I had lying around, specifically off the back of being really impressed with that model and feeling that I really needed somewhere to run it. So, deserved win for Hellion for the 009 gauge locomotive of 2020. And that also made Hellion the 009 gauge manufacturer of the year. Not many manufacturers are in 009, although Bachmann are there, Pico too. So there's some stiff competition when you think that we had the Baldwin from Bachmann, a really great model, and also a lot of rolling stock from Pico, like the Bug Box coaches, which actually started my interest in 009. In N-Gauge, again, we've got a re-emergence of Daypol here, really stamping their mark on the smaller scale, with the Daypol Prototype HST, which won N-Gauge Locomotive of the Year.
Engage.
Yes, indeed. That is, of course, Captain Picard's favourite scale.
Captain Pilchard.
Yeah. And actually the picture in the early BR sort of reversed blue-grey does look amazing. So deserved win on that. Then Revolution snuck in with the N-Gauge rolling stock to get the award for the nuclear flask wagon, which is the KUA in N-Gauge, and that does look really quite nice. And overall manufacturer of the year in N-Gauge was Revolution Trains. Moving up to 00 gauge, we got the winner of the 2020 rolling stock in 00 gauge was the Bachmann branch line 45-ton Ransoms crane. And a bit controversial in the way that a lot of people seem to be trying to slate this model, but it was testament to their engineering that this was, not only was it a really great model to look at, but the fact that it could be posable is an engineering marvel. So well deserved for that.
Simon Trends just asks, just while we're on, says, I take it that Minith Tatis was made to get the 009 out of your system.
Kind of, yeah, but it didn't. It just made me love it all the more. And I found out today from a native Welsh speaker that it's pronounced Tatus. So it's Minith Tatus.
That sounds right, because the way your mum says boots would suggest it would be pronounced with a W.
Yes, put your boots on.
Yeah.
Get some hula hoops in there.
Some tattoos.
Yes, get on your scooter.
So we were wrong pronouncing it as an English tatties.
Yeah, but it's actually tatos. As in Tato's, sort of.
Yes.
Tatos.
Potatoes.
Anyway, meanwhile, back
Where
at
were you up to?
Yeah, back at the ranch. Model Rail Model of the Year 2020 for 00 was the Bachmann Branch Line Class 117. I was actually surprised at this. This was a model which, for me, did pass a little bit under the radar, but it has picked up the 00 gauge Model of the Year. The 00 gauge Multiple Unit of the Year is what I should say. And 00 gauge diesel and electric locomotive was taken by the Hattons Class 66. Again, another model that we were able to review, and it's a great model, actually, I have to say. But really, in my view, one of the standout models of 2020, which blindsided a lot of people, did take the 00 gauge steam locomotive of the year, and that was the Hornby Stephenson's Rocket. And that allowed Hornby to take 00 gauge Manufacturer of the Year, and also Overall Manufacturer of the Year too. So that's the roundup of the awards. So let me just try and get back. I've got to jump back on my own stream.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
We've got to behave now, guys. She's back.
Yeah, so the Train Freak, hello to you. Humanity Junction Model Railroad, hi to you too. Map of the Dragon Railways, Madden Steam Railways. Says, I tried to show an N-gauge layout at the Hadstock show and I couldn't see to join the track together. It can be fiddly. I know that my Mark 1 eyeballs are getting a bit low on battery power. Ham Shackleton, there's the interesting one this. Reed Tatus, is that Northern or Southern Welsh dialect there? Well, I suppose technically it's South Walian dialect, because that and my mother's from the Swansea Valleys, from Ustragunlies. Lee Holden says, good afternoon, Jenny, and it says Jenny and Zoo. You're a zoo, you are. I just smell like one too.
Thank you, my darling.
Yeah. James Hardy says, why is the Railway Children Pannier only pulling one coach? The reason for that, as I said right at the beginning of the stream, is that the gradient here, we've got a 5% gradient, and a little bit taxing on the locomotive, so it felt most comfortable with a single coach going up the hill. So that's what it's actually using. Actually, no, let's not go to that camera angle because it flickers a little bit. Railway Les Price says Daypole egg wagons need coupling change, otherwise static non-runners. Yeah, the Daypole wagons in 00, it's a shame really, because their O gauge stuff is second to none. But in 00, some of the slightly older wagons, the underframes, they can suffer a bit from droopy couplings, and they use a weird kind of plastic for the underframes that doesn't take paint or printing particularly well. Which is a bit of a shame. Right, and anyway, today, one of the other things as well that's in the news, following on from last week with the Acrua scale and Daypole 00 gauge manor announcements.
Oh, is this the manor off?
It's not a manor off, and I was very keen not to be promoting this. So I went to both Daypole and Acrua scale and asked if they'd tell us a little bit more about the models. And coming up later in the programme, I've got a video. I recorded an interview with Fran Burke from Acrua Scale, and we actually talked at great length. So I've got a full-length video interview that'll be going out probably in 2, maybe even 3 weeks' time, where we talk about the full Acrua Scale range. But we've put together a shorter, annotated interview that just focuses in on the manor. We're going to be playing that out later on. Unfortunately, Daypole weren't able to sit down for an interview due to unforeseen circumstances. They did want to come on, but just schedules and stuff. So it's not their fault at all. It's just one of those things. We're going to try and get them on the show at some point in the future. But certainly, if you want to see, they've got the video out of their new EP. It really does look good, actually. So kudos to them for that as well. Would have loved to be able to get them on, but it's just our schedules, we couldn't get together to do the interview, unfortunately, even though both parties did want to. Dapol did want to come on, just couldn't fit the time in to get that done due to unforeseen circumstances. Railway Les... Oh, sorry, I just read that one out. Map the Dragon Railway says, hello, Poshington 01. Well, hello, Poshington 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. Up well and onwards. Good morning from New Zealand. Hello, hello. Keith Pointer says, hello, all back. Excellent. Never knew you went away. Oh, it's just jumped. Where are we? Daryl Hearn does warn that there's a DPD fake email going about. Mrs. got one. Yeah, unfortunately, the scamming...
the scum are out in
force. The scamming poo sniffers are out there, and they are... Sorry.
Tell us how it is, Jan.
Oh, yeah, we have the best insults here. Unfortunately, I'm not allowed to swear. So I have to... I end up... The thing is, it's like... It's almost amusing in its own right when you go, you can't swear. And when you get so frustrated that you want to swear, and you have to come out with what you think is a really cutting and scathing insult, and it just looks like something that a 2-year-old would say.
Or you could do what Billy Connolly
smelly
used to do.
poo head.
You could do what Billy Connolly used to do, and his old routine of how Scottish parents would make up things that sounded like swear words. So it would be getifer and bassa. So getifer, you bassa. And it sounds close enough that if you shout it in an angry Scottish accent, it sounds like you're swearing, but you're not, and your conscience is clean.
See, bassa. Oh, that was... Oh.
Yes,
right.
Don't do those impressions again, mate, yeah?
Yes.
Respect my authority!
Don't do that. You give me a headache.
Yeah, I give myself one as well.
John Nelson says he's laughing at the poo sniffers.
Yeah, but anyway, yes, unfortunately there are a lot of scams going around. I've seen some HMRC ones, Royal Mail, DPD, you name it. And they're all scams. At the end of the day, you basically have to take the view that they're all scammers. And yes, Your Honour, that's my excuse for why I didn't pay any tax this year.
Oh my goodness. Simon Trent says, I hate scammers. Last year I got scammed out of £1,000. I'm so sorry. I hope you got some of that back.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
And this is the biggest problem with scammers. And you can be the most vigilant person ever. You will get scammed at some point.
Yeah, unfortunately, so my father managed to get scammed, and he's normally the kind of person who'd be sceptical of everything, and he managed to get scammed.
Yeah, I've been scammed. I got scammed out of 30 quid when I was in my early 20s.
Oh, did you? How did that go down?
It was an online purchase for something, and it's like, it's gone.
Oh, what were you trying to buy?
No, it's so long ago I can't even remember what I was trying to buy, but I still remember that I had 30 quid that I didn't have anymore.
Yeah. Gary Lewis says, hi Jenny, the RM article on Weir Yard was the first thing I read. Great read and nice selection of photos. Jenny, congrats. Stop it, you smelly poo head. But
come on, I'm a comedian. What? I can't pass that joke.
You really are a comedian.
I can't pass a joke like that up, I'm sorry.
Just remember, there's a fine line between being laughed with and laughed at. Right. Oh
yeah. Watch out for those telephone scams about internet being cut up in 4 hours. Yeah. How will I notice? Everyone's on my line. Get up.
Oh, I love some of the comebacks you see when dealing with scammers. Like the ones that are trying to flog you double glazing and stuff. And it's like, oh, yeah, great. Yeah, lovely. String them along for as long as you can. And then at the end say, you know, I didn't think we could have double glazing in the caravan, but there we go. Or for a conservatory, and when they come to ask your address for coming round, like 9th floor flat. Yeah. So there's ways and means, boys and girls, ways and means. I remember once when I was a student, somebody rang up trying to flog double glaze, and that was the scam of the year back then, something like 1998 or something like that. And they rang the house that we were living out in, and the guy must have honed his patter to try and get people on the hook. And he came on and he said, "Have you got double glazing?" And I went, "Hold on, I'll just check." I just put the phone down on the side, went off and went back to playing my game of Quake. And half an hour later, give him his due, he was still there on the phone when I came back. And I went, "Yep," and put the phone down. Right.
So you're on about minding your manners.
Mm-hmm.
The manners.
I'm sorry, I'm minding my manners.
The manners class.
Oh, yes. Meanwhile, back on the ranch. So, so we've got a video from Acrua scale. What?
Fab Waller Boy says someone phoned about a basement conversion. He says, "Yeah, I'll have one of them. I didn't know you could do them on a canal bar."
Yeah. Oh, it's a bit wet.
We've got a bit of a damp problem.
Yeah. Ron B points out, actually, the Daypole Manor has a 1-up on the Acura scale with a 5-pole motor. Excellent. Let's have a look. Right. Oh, Keith Pointer says, "Yes, Ken, the railway's okay. I got knockout on the head." Oh, sorry to hear that.
Oh my goodness.
Right. Right, sorry, his ears must have been burning. Just speak of the devil. I just had a message from Acura scale. I just saw it flash up on my phone. But,
it doesn't say there's a bit in the video that I have to edit out, does it?
No. Oh, it's too late now. So hello to Sparky107, Martin Siersma, Fraser Cottrell. I'm doing pretty great, thank you. Dwight Curley. I think I'm well behind here on the comments. Putnam Junction. It says, "Take that." I think it only works if you do it in a Scottish accent. "Take that, you Bonder Beth." Messing about with models. I like the fact there are lots of DPD texts. Means I can disguise my purchases. The thinking man. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much, George. That is really, really generous.
Wow.
Thank you.
My stream has crashed. It's not updating. But I can see on the...
George Botterini has generously donated $10 and says,
thank you.
"Just bought my first Janus from Rails today."
Oh, they are a great model, I have to say. So my copy of YouTube has crashed. So
these things happen.
Let me try and...
So thank you very much for that, George.
This is... I don't believe it. Look at that. It's pretending that it's not connected. That really annoys me when my phone does that. It's pretending it's connected. It has full Wi-Fi signal, but thank you, George Botterini. It says, "Just bought my first Janus from..." Is it Janus or Janus?
Well, I've always known it as Janus.
Janus or Janus?
But it wouldn't be Janus because it's Greek, so it's probably Janus.
That sounds like it could almost become an insult in its own right. But look, thank you very much, George.
Janus.
Janus actually sounds
more likely to be right. Yeah.
Well, I've been having a lot of...
Oh, excuse me, I'm so sorry.
My child. You know, you're right next to the microphone.
I know,
when you do that.
but I can't help it, I just explode. Is that a huge Janus? These grieving
I knew that was coming. I knew it. Oh, I'm glad I wasn't the one.
They are pretty big, those Januses.
Yeah. Right. Right. I'm trying.
Sorry, guys.
Trying to jump back on YouTube now. Oh, come on! Stop pretending that nothing's happening.
So what was all this stuff about the thingamajig?
Oh, at the manor,
Yes.
we've got a vid. Oh, I hate it when it does that with those awful those adverts that
The ones that you can't find the button on.
yeah, they shouldn't be allowed. They
No,
really
they
shouldn't.
should be slapped.
Oh, I see that we've had a troll through. So a big hello to the troll. Your dislike has exactly the same effect as a like. So thank you for that.
It doesn't do what you think it's doing.
Yeah. Dazza1977, hi to you. Samuel Ives says, "My ears."
Did we get that down for just after I sneezed? Because I didn't mean to, you know.
Right. Right. Oh yes, the other thing that's been going on is that there's been an awful lot of talk of Hornby pre-orders getting cancelled. There's been a thread on RM Web. I've also been sent a lot of screen grabs from people, and it all seems to be the same retailer. Now, I want to be hesitant. I don't want to just come out and say, oh, yes, it all appears to be this one retailer, but all I have seen so far conclusively is stuff that comes from one retailer. So I don't know whether it's the one retailer that's having a problem or people are just not talking about the others.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Crosswise Point Junction. Happy birthday to you.
I forgot to sing the other versions, like Happy birthday to you, squash, tomatoes and stew, bread and butter in the gutter. And I can't remember the
That's
rest.
not the one you're supposed to sing.
That's-
Happy birthday to you. You
We
live
went
in the zoo. You smell like a monkey. And you act like one too.
Yeah, you nearly just like went and demolished stuff with your thrusting elbow was there. Yeah, I don't know. I think people could probably. Oh, actually, you might have just come into frame there.
Pete Clark says, by the way, the dislikes do go against you. No, they don't.
No.
YouTube's algorithm counts it as an interaction, doesn't care which. It just prevents the likelihood of that person being told about these videos in the future.
Big hello to Acrua Scale UK. In fact, at some point, the Cupboard Monkey is going to take the hint and actually queue up that video so we can play that out. Just make sure you put the sound on so we can play the interview. Ah, come on, you can't get the staff, can you?
Right. Sorry, are you hinting that I should play this video that I painstakingly created for you?
Yeah. Wamgok says 390 in the chat and only 36 likes. Yeah, so
49 likes now and 400 in the chat.
Oh, right.
Come
actually,
on, guys.
I think it sometimes actually it doesn't. Is this doing a? I don't believe it. It's crashed again.
Would you like to use a different phone?
This phone is rubbish. Can I just say, this phone is utter garbage.
It's the same phone as mine, and mine is fine.
Nope, it's garbage.
It's
Garbage phone. Right, where are we up to?
There you go.
No,
Mine's
I'm
fine.
back on. So, Breezer 707, yes, had my orders cancelled, so ordered from another shop and hope all is good.
Garthian says, pay peanuts, get Cupboard Monkey. She didn't even pay me peanuts.
Yeah, you didn't justify that. Right, Andy1962 says, elephant in the room, it's Hatton's been cancelling pre-orders. Mine placed within 1 hour of Hornby announcement, but still cancelled at Hatton's. The interesting thing is, I can only find people referencing Hatton's. I've seen screen grabs of emails, they've all been from Hatton's. Now, what I can't find out is whether other retailers have had a similar issue or not. But I will look into that. I did speak to Hatton's, and they didn't know about any other retailers. Not in the case of, well, we don't think it's any, but no, they said
They didn't know about it. They didn't know they existed.
Yeah, they're like, there are other people who sell models.
Oh no!
But no, they said that they're not aware of it being problems or anything. They basically didn't give me any information at all. But I did speak to them, and they were aware that they'd had to cancel some things. But it's kind of that's where we got up to. So I don't know what's going on there. I'm not going to speculate, but just making you aware that if you have pre-ordered any of the Hornby range from Hatton's, now they are still getting stocks of things. I know they've just recently got the RBR coaches, new stock of those in. And some people are reporting that Hatton's is confirming that it is able to supply certain things from Hornby, but it does appear that they've been hit with a reduction in the amount of stock that they've been allocated for reasons which we don't know, and I'm not going to speculate.
This isn't the first time that things like this have happened. And the fact is, during the pandemic, I wonder, have the factories not been able to ship entire orders?
I think, there are a great many issues that can come into play. Right. So, if you want to make that full screen,
I will,
we
and
now
I'll
have
turn off our microphone, so remind me to turn it back on afterward.
Okay.
Otherwise people won't hear this. So, if you want to press the button, we are
Okay,
ready
so we
to
now have
go.
the Acrua Scale interview, and...
Are we ready?
Yep, let's go. Hi there, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. It's really great to see you. I hope I find you well. And today, we're going to be having a chat with Frambert from Acrua Scale, and I'm really interested to hear some more about the all-new Manor class that has been announced. So, Fran, welcome along to the show. It's great to see you. I hope you're well there. And how are you weathering the not just COVID, but the winter weather? Have you had it quite cold down there?
Hi Jenny. Thanks for having me. First of all, it's been COVID has been interesting. We're obviously coming up on 12 months since lockdown kicked in. Obviously, just under a month ago. But we're keeping busy and we've been able to work flat out here. As for the weather, we were promised snow yesterday, but there's not. The sun is actually out today, which is very unusual for Ireland this time of year, as you can imagine. So it is quite cold, but I think we've escaped the snow in this part of the world. So. We're quite happy about that.
Oh, that's great. No worries. But what I really wanted to talk to you about is that you announced back on the 1st of February the all-new Manor. Now, this is the first Steam Outline model that you've announced. You've already got behind you the Class 55, the Class 37, the Class 92 announcements, and they're actually getting on quite well. But the Manor kind of blindsided the whole model world because it turned up with the working EPs. So it's not simply a case of saying, here's a photograph of the real thing, we'll do it over the next few years. You've actually put a lot of work into this. So how long have you actually been working on this project?
Well, we started research in early 2019. So, in the gestation period, we're coming up on about 2 years worth of work so far. And we've made a conscious decision around locomotives. And all our models now, as you'll see, any wagons that we announce with a sample in hand. And this is to cut down on waiting time for people between, it announces something of initial development and then you don't see anything from it. You don't get the final model for about 2.5 years. Whereas this, we wanted to bring down the waiting time within 12 months on everything we do, COVID permitting, obviously. So the Manor started, we decided on it because it seemed a big gap in the market for a top-of-the-line double gauge Manor. So it seemed like the perfect one for us to do. I think, in previous chats with yourself, we teased that we were doing a steam locomotive, but obviously we didn't want to give too much away. So we put in a lot of initial research. We worked with the Great Western Society, Didcot, Earlstock Manor Fund, lots of GWR experts like Mike Romans and people like that who really know their stuff about GWR steam especially. And we wanted to, build up a good basis of research. And then around Warley in 2019, because we were staying in the Birmingham area, Tysley was just down the road, we started to do our initial surveys there. And we, especially around the tenders, because all the variation in Manor seems to be around the tenders. And that's something that we want to bring into it as well. Like we do, like with, you see something like the Delta in Class 37, there's lots of different variations within the one model that, a lot of manufacturers did some before, but never to the extreme that we want to do it. And we want to bring that to the steam locomotives as well. So the Manor, we saw lots of variation in the tender, we want to cater for that. So we surveyed around Tysley just before Warley. And I think on the Monday afterwards, when we were still quite blind after a very busy weekend. And then after that, we travelled down to Didcot to survey Cookham Manor. And then that was 3D scanned as well. So a lot of work had gone into it. And because we do our own CAD in-house and we had all the research and design and then the scan done, CAD itself, 3D CAD was built quite quickly. And we had sent off for initial tuning and stuff like that by early last year. And the other thing we want to do as well, people were kind of blindsided, it's a Locomotive announcement out of the blue. But if you look back on 2020, we actually didn't announce very much. We announced the variation of the Class 37, the 37-4s and a couple of wagons, but we wanted to catch up with ourselves a bit first. And in the background, the Manor was progressing quite nicely. So that's why we were able to have a sample ready to go and people could see that here it is in the flesh. So we're kind of catching up on our initial release locomotives as well. And the Manor has progressed really well. It's, we were very thorough in our research and in our surveys and stuff like that. So we had such a clean process between initial research, design, and then into tooling that it did actually progress quite quickly for us, which was great. It was just in time then. 1st of February was our third birthday in the British market for Acrua, and it was a great way to celebrate it then to announce our first steam locomotive.
And so when you talk about the variations, particularly with the tender, Is this something that you're going to be looking to do to effectively be able to recreate accurately every member of class? Or how are you looking at doing the different variations within the tooling? Is there going to be a lot of variation?
Yeah, well, I mean, we looked at the manner, and if you look at the 10 locomotives we've announced in our initial release, obviously we're covering livery variations, which, you know, is very important to give people a choice. But if you look within those 10 variations, pretty much each one has a unique set of details in it. So there are almost 10 unique different locomotives within that first launch. So there's stuff of where the washout plugs are based in the boiler. There's 2 different, you know, spaces for or placements for that. We're covering that. We are looking at, you know, flush-sided and rivet-sided 3,500 gallon tenders. We have options around chimney, smoke box door handles, the buffers, different tender frames, spring hangers, buffers there as well. And then even in later years when they had the frame installed on the tender to stop people, obviously prevent people from getting hit by overhead wires or to remind them for that. So it's kind of throughout their careers around the redrafting and stuff like that carried out with BR. So, I mean, you can't cover every single tiny different detail, but we try to cover a broad range of details to accurately portray them throughout their careers on the GWR and then obviously on BR as well. And then even into preservation too, which is good.
So you've shown the EP. Has that got a really good response from enthusiasts? And has there been anything that you've identified off the back of that you're going to go back and change in the model, or has it been perfectly received?
There's always really good constructive feedback that you get back from enthusiasts, and there might be something you missed or something that, you know, you can look at again if you weren't sure around compromise or something like that as well. Overall, the manner has been really well received and been very complimentary. One area that was identified and we got on feedback is our slide bar is a bit thin, so we're going to look to increase the depth on that and work with the factory on that. They were a bit reluctant to previously, but we've kind of worked out a way that we can increase it. Some of the rivet detail is going to be improved. We're literally down to counting, you know, identifying rivets at this stage. And I think when we look at those small, minute details, that shows that the overall package of the locomotive is quite good. Another area that we're looking at as well is that there's you know, just kind of little bits of finesse and, you know, just kind of final finish. But it's hard to tell at this stage because it's a first casting, you know, tooling still needs to be polished and stuff like that. And on the EP, it's still missing the etched and turned metal details. So we still have to get them. We won't get them until just after Chinese New Year now. And then we'll be able to make a full assessment on the full locomotive. But overall, the feedback has been overwhelmingly positive. And as I said, people are looking at very, very small parts of detail where we can improve and suggest we can improve. And that's what we're going to work on. But it does suggest that the overall package is quite attractive. And we've definitely captured the nature of the manor and the beauty of its lives and stuff like that as well. So we're really happy about that.
Brilliant. And one of the things that with the announcement of things like the Class 92, the Class 55, the Class 37, is some of the more technical things that have gone inside it, things like coming factory fitted with stay alives. Are we going to be seeing, and not just those features, but are there any new features in the manor that you're particularly proud of?
Yeah, with the manor, we wanted to, again, we looked at the whole kind of steam locomotive market and we want to see, well, how can we improve it or how can we bring our own stamp to it, I suppose would be a better way to put it. Because there's some really fabulous models out there. We feel something with steam is haulage and capacity is something that we really want to improve. So it's a huge amount of die-cast is used. It's die-cast running plate, die-cast boiler, die-cast chassis. And we really kind of want to build that into it. Around kind of, again, detail variations is something we're building into it, which again, as I said, we've done on our diesels. We want to bring that to steam locomotives because a lot of them have been, you know, kind of not generic, but, you know, there's been less detail variations in steam locomotives before. Our stay alive capacitors and stuff will be in this locomotive as well. All with pickup, obviously, but a lot of companies do that. And then we have 3 different speakers in the sound fitted locomotives. There will be 2 in the tender and 1 in the boiler. So we really want to push, obviously it's something we've seen with the Delticans and we will see with the Class 37 as well, and the 92 we've done that as well, where we put a lot of thought into sound fitting models, because digital is just getting much bigger and bigger as we go along. So that's another area where we want to really kind of, push the envelope for steam locomotives and bring a next generation of sound fitted models as well. And obviously all 10 locomotives that we're doing in our range will be available DC, DCC and DCC ready, or with the full sound package fitted too. So there's these different elements that we're bringing into it that we hope will set it apart, and give it a stamp of Acrua scale steam locomotives. And, should these be successful, we will continue to build them into our next steam locomotives going forward too.
Right. So what date are we looking at? When can we expect to see these come to the market and be able to be bought? Do you have a date yet, or is it still?
We work in quarters for the year. So obviously the tooling is done. So a lot of the work has been done by announcing it on the 1st of February. We've cut out 18 months away from initial project start until now. So the EP will be assessed in the coming weeks, and then we expect delivery samples not too far afterwards, because we don't think there's a huge amount to be done on it. The slide bars and stuff like that's a fairly easy thing to do. It's not tooling where you fix, it's more of a metal part. Then with the same goes for the rivets actually. Then we're looking at a full release in Q4 this year. So you're talking between October, November, December of this year.
That's brilliant. And one of the other things I just want to talk to you a little bit about is that the price that you've announced it at is a very, very competitive price compared with what we're seeing from a variety of other manufacturers for other steam outline locomotives. Has it been difficult to get that price to a very competitive point, or is this an area that's very important to keep it within a certain price bracket?
I think it's very important to, the way we approach it is obviously we're big on detail and we like a lot of extra parts and stuff like that, but we don't want that to be inaccessible for most people. For most modelers, we want to really make that as competitive as possible. And if we can make that price as competitive for such a top of the line locomotive, whether it's our Deltic or 92 or Manor or Class 37 or any of our wagons, we feel then that's the best value for money. You're getting a top-of-the-line product for a reasonable price, so it's best bang for buck. We have to do a lot of negotiation with factories and stuff like that, and we do beat them down on price. And, especially when we're doing something with the Manor, there's so much die casting into it. Die casting is a lot more expensive, as you can see with fully die cast locomotives on the market before in steam. They tend to have a higher price point, but we're trying to bring that down into, a sub £200 price point. We managed to do that with the Manor quite successfully. For a reasonably sized locomotive. So there is a lot of toing and froing with the factory, negotiating this and the other, but it's very important for us that we don't price it out of the pockets of all modelers. We do our best to cater for everybody, and we even do stuff if you order direct from us, you can pay in installments, and that kind of softens the burden between now and delivery, that it's not going to be £170 or £260 for a sound fitted model straight out of my pocket right now. I can pay £50 a month or £20 a week or whatever way. We're very flexible on the terms, and it's at no additional interest. We don't charge handling fees, anything like that as well. If you want to pay for it in a series of payments, it's still £169.99 or £259.99. So, we do try our best to keep the prices reasonable and make it as easy as possible to obtain them. And we just want to bring the best value for money, and we see that by offering the best detail for the most reasonable price we can. So yeah, it's very important to us to do that.
Well, thank you very much for talking about the Manor project. I'm really looking forward. It's obviously the first steam locomotive from Acrua scale. And obviously, so far I've seen pretty much all of the different wagons that you brought out, and they are absolutely amazing. So I am so looking forward to seeing the completed Manor, and hopefully we'll be getting one to run around on Weir Yard. Well, thank you ever so much to Fran from Acrua Scale for giving us that interview. And like I said before, we did actually talk at length about the full Acrua Scale range, so there's a lot more questions, and we're going to be putting out a full video in probably a couple of weeks' time. So I'm really looking forward to being able to show you guys that. It'll probably go out as a Friday video. So thank you ever so much, Fran.
When I finished editing it up.
Definitely. And what really struck me with the Manor is, firstly, that it's so far advanced. I do love that when models are actually, rather than just being announced very early on where there's nothing really to show for it, This model has come out of the gates with that EP, and we're right at the point where it's just minor little tweaks that need doing. That is great. And also the price point. Now, we've just recently had the quarterly announcement from another manufacturer, and I know price is always one of the areas that people pick up on. And for me, with this Manor, we're getting an all-new, fully detailed model, and it's still very, very keen on that price point.
And something that Leslie Gilpin is actually pointing out there. Price is always what the market will carry. One manufacturer mooted a Class 13 that would likely cost £300.
Who's this?
I don't know which manufacturer. That's what he's just saying. One of them has mooted a 13 at 300. That seems to me like it might be. It's what I've said a few times on the show. We're starting to see a kind of stratification of the market. There's some manufacturers that price at a certain point, others that price a little lower, and others a little lower still.
Yeah, I think that's too simplistic with something like model railways, because that. What I've seen actually is some of the quarterly announcements that we've just seen. We're looking at 10-year-old models coming out with a re-livery at over £200. And yet with the Acura scale, what we're seeing is a brand new tooled up from scratch model at 169, I think that was for the DC model, which is substantially below that, but it's a much newer model, and I like that. It's keeping the other manufacturers honest. And it has to be said at this point that because Daypol, due to other outside controls, weren't able to come on and do the interview.
We did ask them.
We did ask, and they did want to do it, in fairness to them. But the price point on the Daypol Manor as well is very, very keen. And hopefully, what I'm hoping is actually that the market will support both. I think that with a really great model with great features, hopefully this is going to be one of those models that everybody will look to have in their collection and will provide sterling service so that it will support both manufacturers.
Now, I want to ask you a question, Jen. Something that has been inspired by a few questions that have come up while we were showing that video.
Yeah.
Someone was asking about a pink locomotive.
A pink? See, pink is...
I haven't even asked the question yet.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, you're
I'm just
quick
saying,
off the mark there.
Pink is an unusual locomotive, an unusual locomotive for a colour. No, an unusual colour for a locomotive. But do go on.
So, where I watch a lot of videos about toy manufacturers and toy collecting. I'm a gamer, and there are lots of bits of merch for games, and a lot of the time, both of those will have what they call a colour variant, or like just a variant design. So what I'm thinking is there room in the model railway market for a manufacturer-specific livery that they do some variants in?
In a word, no. And the reason for that is because it's very easy for people outside of railway modelling to see it as toys, but actually these are models. So they're based on a real locomotive with a real livery that it's carried. And pink is not a colour that I can actually, even in industrial liveries, I'm not aware of any locomotives that were painted pink from the outset. Red, yes, and it may be the case that red can fade to a kind of pinky colour, but I've not seen any pictures to support that. And because of that, I don't think that a pink steam locomotive would appear in model form until such time as a prototype, for whatever reason, gets painted pink. Now, there are diesel locomotives and multiple unit trains that have been painted pink due to livery variants. So yes, and we have seen some of those come through in model form. So effectively, the model manufacturers will make an accurate model of what happens in reality. But until that pink locomotive happens in reality, we're just not going to see it.
So you would never see anything like a Scaledale Express or something like that, with its own livery.
A Scaledale Express.
You know, Scaledale, the buildings.
No.
And you've got to the point where with all the Scaledale range, you've essentially got enough for a village. Can you not see it extending from that to their own like Hornby livery?
No. But But Hornby are bringing out the Play Trains range. Now, we have seen samples of that. They're starting to push the website, the backstory, and this is very firmly aimed at the much younger generation. This is about getting kids interested in model railways. The emphasis is on fun, on imagination, on
Anthropomorphizing. Okay, you mime it while I say it. Anthropomorphizing
the actual train, such that it's appealing to that much younger generation. Now, I think the Play Trains is a great way of getting smaller children interested in the hobby in a fun way. So we're likely to see pink-coloured trains coming through with that. But in terms of having it in your main range, I don't really think so.
That's a shame. You know what? For Monkey Build, I am going to build some kits of various trains, and I am going to make...
You're going to build the big boy and paint it pink, aren't you?
I am going to have my own livery. It's going to be fun.
Oh, interesting. Pete Clark says Southern Train Girl has a pink loco.
Yes, she's just sent the link.
Oh, so we'll be able to show that.
I'm going to find that.
Yeah. So Southern Train Girl says, Zoe just sent a link for an O-gauge pink schools to your email. That is actually nice. It makes me think of... I like that juxtaposition. Now, of course, manufacturers do have to make a judgment call on the commercial viability of such things. If somebody rocked up and even, say, went to a Curacao and said, I'd like a pink manor, please, they will most likely, if you're serious, quote you a price, but you will have to buy like 1,000 of them, and then it's your problem about selling them. So you can commission pretty much anything you like if you pay for it. But certainly, one of the things that I've always found most amusing, it occasionally surfaces on social media, is there's somebody's taken a real AK-47 gun, dismantled it, and then a custom paint job in Hello Kitty pink with a Hello Kitty logo, with Hello Kitty holding an AK-47. And actually, this is a real AK-47 gun.
I don't think it's actually endorsed by Sanrio, though, is it?
Yeah, I don't believe it is. It's like fan-based. But, it occasionally surfaces, and I do like it when people just do something that's a little bit out of the norm. But, of course, don't say never, because wasn't there a Black 5 that was covered in wallpaper? It really was.
What?
Yeah, seriously, it was for a TV advert in the 1970s. Filmed at the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway. Solvite, for advertising the actual wallpaper paste glue, they paid to wallpaper a steam locomotive and then run it to kind of prove just how durable this glue was. And the Keighley and Worth Valley Railway thought, it's a nice little earner, we'll get some money out of this. But what they didn't realise was actually this glue was... Are you all right there?
Yeah.
You can pull that keyboard out. And what they didn't realise was the glue turned out to be a little bit too good, and they struggled to clean it afterwards. Right, Gwen Reese Davies, hello. Yes. What are we looking at? Oh yes, I know about that. The Class 66 in a very distinctive pink livery.
You want to pop that up on screen for a second?
Yeah, we can show you this on screen. And these pictures, in fact, my great big mug is probably covering the Hatton's Class 66, which Hatton's has scooped the double O gauge diesel and electric model awards in the Model Rail model of 2020. So a great model, out at a great price as well, £119 in stock. And that's the Freightliner /1 pink livery. So if you do want a pink locomotive, then that is one of your choices. And that is modelled on a real locomotive. Right.
So we could have a pink loco.
So Martin Searsma says there was an AR-15 in DE. An AR-15's a gun. Let's have a look. Oh, Will Tucker says Pretty Little Thing have an all-over advert, Blackpool tram in pink, and I think Pretty Little Thing, aren't they lingerie manufacturer?
They also have a taxi in Bolton that's
I've seen the London black cab type taxis, there is at least one of those in Bolton in the same livery. So I think that may be a countrywide thing. James Hardy says it was 45212 that was put in wallpaper. Although Roger Wolstenholme says Solvite was an 8F. Interesting. Stephen Dakin says, was that the advert with Ronnie Corbett? I'm not sure, actually. I've only ever seen snippets of it. Right. Yeah, Ben Tullett says, though, looking at the German DB, the Deutsche Bahn locos, they turn pink when the paint fades over time. Now, that is one of the problems. And anybody who's bought a cheaper red car will know the bane of cheaper finish red paint. Certainly, paint that's not had a clear coat layer to protect it. So, you know, your little Fiat Puntos from the 1980s and early 1990s, if you got a red one, it didn't stay red for long and actually went sort of a very fetching shade of pink. And you needed to get some real elbow grease in there with some T-cut to bring it back to red. So it's probably, if there is going to be a pink steam locomotive, it will be because it started out red and faded. Right, we spent far too much time on the Solvite adverts. Right, Ben Davis asks, can we see the wallpaper Black 5 steam train? I don't have any pictures, I'm afraid. And we've got to be careful. We can only show things that we've got permissions to show. Russell Benton does convert. I'm sure, yeah, I knew it was a Black 5. So Solvite Loco was a Black 5. Andy T741 says, talking sticky things, Toxteth O'Grady had a rather sticky bogey. What? I'll take your word for it. Egg Rider says, do a Google image search for the following to find the pink railhead track treatment train. Yeah, they definitely are out there. Jay, I think I've seen that pink one livery from Hornby. Definitely, Hattons have definitely done it as well. Yeah, Fat Wallet Boy 2, yeah, Fiats and Vauxhalls. I think VW Polos as well. There was red VW Polos were a pain for fading to a pink over time. I think it's just they didn't use a clear coat, so it was a cheaper paint finish. Wellsworth Flyer says, hello Jenny, first time I'm joining one of your streams. Welcome along. I remember you said you're looking forward to the 00 gauge SECRD class that's coming out. Is there any more 440 locos you would like to see? I'm trying to think, actually. Off the top of my head, probably a Hull and Barnsley Railway liveried locomotive. I know that there were some quite similar ones, but one of the things that I have noticed, and it will not have escaped the manufacturers, is that a lot of the 440 type locomotives were fairly similar designs to the point where, the likes of Dubs or Bayer Peacock or all these locomotive manufacturers Kitsons, who built these for a lot of the smaller pre-grouping railways, you're pretty much getting the same locomotive with a few embellishments, the length and breadth of the country. So there's one design kind of with a few minor detail differences would cover a lot of variants. I'd love to see some locomotives from some of the other pre-grouping railways, which we've not seen so far. Highland Railway, Glasgow and South Western Railway, Hull and Barnsley Railway, London, Tilbury and South End Railway. There's a lot of these fairly well known but not necessarily well represented railways. It would be nice to see stuff from, but I can't off the top of my head think of any particular 440. I guess that it would be nice to see the D49s from Hornby, the LNER County classes. A fully spec'd, retooled, super detailed version of those. I believe it is still in the railroad range, but it is a locomotive named after various shires, so Cheshire, places like that. It would be nice to see a really high quality model of that. And I suspect that if anybody's going to do it, that would come possibly from Hornby. Dave Pippin, FB TV Entertainment. What about orange steam locomotive? Terry's chocolate orange delivery. Well, if it was a steam loco, wouldn't it fade? Now, orange. I'm trying to think. I'm sure that there were orange industrial locomotives out there.
I've just seen one on the channel.
An orange one.
An orange one.
What?
Sure, I've seen an orange one.
Orange. Plenty of reds.
I don't think you've got one,
Yeah.
but I think we saw it on someone's video.
Could well have done. Yes, that sounds right. Actually,
What's that one? Not the bottom of the one just above, on the far right.
Far right. Oh, that's a Class 14 in load hall. So it's got orange bonnets, but black the rest of it.
There you are.
So there we are. Right. Fat Wallet Boy 2 says Astras and Punters and Corsas and Cinquecentos. Yes, definitely. Yeah, Trevor Dickinson. You can always tell an old Royal Mail van. They say Royal Mail vehicles get their red paint faded. And if you see one that's been sold out of service and not scrubbed up, they have the decals peeled off. You can see all the Royal Mail logos in a sort of a reverse image because they remain in bright red where the transfers have been protecting the paint. I know my father had he had a red van and he was forever having to use a buffer and polish on it. But when it faded, you could see that it used to be, I think it was a Royal Mail van at some point because it didn't fade at quite the same rate and it used to really annoy him. Madden Steam Railway says it's pretty much nationwide, the black taxi, especially if we're talking about something like the Fairway or the TX1. Yeah, that is definitely the one. TM Coffee says, hiya, I'm a pure newbie at trains, but since this lockdown, I really fancy starting in this hobby. It is a great hobby. There is certainly, you've never had more choice. And the materials as well. And this is something, I did an interview, and this is something that's going to be coming. We may have to move interviews around, it has to be said, because I've got to, I'm doing an interview tomorrow with Ben Jones from Hellion, to coincide with the release of the Class 25, so that may get bumped up the queue. But I did an interview, finally got an interview with Ken Patterson from What's Neat This Week. Really pleased to be able to sit down in conversation. Always a pleasure to chat with Ken. But we were talking about things like the improvement in materials and how it's made things much more accessible. And I think that's the key thing, is that modern materials make railway modelling accessible because they make doing things simpler and easier, and the results are, you don't need as like intimate skill in how to make sticky up grass. You can do that so readily with stuff like the static grass from War World Scenics. A big fan of their products. And I actually recently extended my baseboard, only a small bit, just so I could add some more static grass. That's how in love I am with the War World Scenics range of static grass.
Phil Metcalf says, someone asked me to paint Space Marines purple metallic with bronze dry brushed over. And bronze dry brushed over purple apparently looks pink. Phil, am I correct in thinking the purple Space Marines are the Emperor's children? The first of the Space Marine cohort that turned to heresy. I believe they are, because I painted my Space Marines purple for that reason.
Yes, you bought what is actually normally a very neglected colour in the Humbrol racks, which is the purple. I think you bought the pink as well. The pink and the purple, nobody ever buys them.
Yes, because I had to buy the pink in order to paint my Chaos Marines in the pink, so that when the Emperor's children fell to heresy, they became pink. Someone was asking Hattons why they no longer stock Graham Farish. Am I right in thinking that's Bachman?
Yes, Graham Farish, Woodland Scenics, Britain's EFE, and Bachman Acura Craft. There's a whole bunch of different things that they're either produced by Bachman, so Graham Farish is the N-gauge range that Bachman produced, or they are distributed by Bachman, and Hattons and Bachman fell out. Hattons are no longer stocking any of their products, and that is why. But I know that there's been speculation, and I must stress it is purely been speculation about Hattons having difficulty in fulfilling Hornby pre-orders. Now, we don't know the reason for this.
I still
So-
honestly think it's not what people are worrying
Yeah,
about.
I think almost certainly. I know in the case of when Rails had the issue, it's not what people think, and it's not my place to talk about a lot of this. I know people say, "Oh, go on, spill the beans, spill the beans," and it's like it's none of my business. And you can, there's, I'm not going there, but it's never what people are publicly speculating about. It's like Chinese whispers. These rumors always grow an extra leg in the telling, and actually the truth is probably something as simple as, for whatever reason, Hornby have not got the supply through, and because Hattons is a big player in the market, it's going to filter through as appearing as if they've got more issues than others because they've taken more orders than others. So even if everybody has their quota reduced by 10%, that's going to disproportionately affect Hattons, and people do like to bash the big players, unfortunately. So you're going to see a lot of that kind of surface. And you may also find as well that whereas Hattons are very good, people tend to, it's their first go-to choice, they will sell out their allocation very quickly. Smaller retailers may not necessarily have sold out their allocation, which means in turn, if Hornby have had to reduce the allocation, say for example, 10% has been, they've had to take 10% off everybody's allocation. Now, if a smaller retailer only ordered 10 items, but has sold to pre-order, say 7, then you're not going to see any cancellations for them, even though they've had statistically, percentage-wise, the same amount reduced. So we've got to bear all these things in mind.
Yeah, but a guy who's had 1,000 ordered, and he's lost 10%. That's
He's going to lose 100.
Yeah.
And you think they may have sold 990, and all of a sudden they've got to tell 90 people, we're very sorry, we can't fulfill that. And it's not that they've done anything different. If anything, they're being penalised for their success at getting pre-orders in. And then that creates a perception that they've got a problem, there's some kind of relationship breakdown, when actually that is not the case. So until I hear officially otherwise, I will assume that is possibly what the problem is. It's very unfortunate. But it may just simply be an expression of how successful Hattons have been, especially since Rails are now no longer stocking Hornby. They may have picked up a lot of the people who would have otherwise pre-ordered from Rails, and that has meant that if there's been a reduction for whatever reason across the board, it's going to disproportionately affect them. Right. Phil Metcalf, this goes back to the Hello Kitty gun. As a Hello Kitty gun is not bad, it's the 3D printed stuff to make a photo, not suitable for kids. Yeah, you've got to be ever so careful. I know there's a lot of rules about showing certain things, so I can't show you my my Lee Enfield rifle very easily on YouTube because they immediately go, "Oh, you're showing off guns. Not safe for kids. Oh, not family friendly. Not advertiser friendly." And before you know it, give that a shove.
That one stopped as well. Are you getting a brown out?
No, that's really weird. That is very strange.
That one's still not. Oh, but this going now.
It will go again. Now
That was weird.
Yes, it is.
Have you got the
No. It's
fiddle yard on again?
No. I have not. It's the I think I've got a loose connection, but it's Oh, sorry.
You're pressing the buttons again. You've broken it now.
Unfortunately.
Jenny.
Oh, I don't believe it.
Jenny.
We've lost me.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
no.
didn't need you. Right.
I can't believe that.
Okay, which of these do I turn off and then on again?
Right, tell you what. Turn them all off. Sorry, we're just going to have to do a little bit of running repair. So turn them all off. So, sorry about this, people. I accidentally lent on the wrong button and it's broken things. So, Don Gets Model Railway, hi to you. My APT order, wait, is my APT order in jeopardy? No, they are still getting pre-orders. So, for example, I've not heard anything. I've got a W1 on order with them. I've not heard anything about cancellation. Have you turned them all off?
I'm trying to turn them all off.
You should have no blue lights.
I know that.
Are we good?
Yes.
Right, I will now cycle through the different cameras.
You're pressing the wrong buttons. What
I couldn't believe it, yeah.
I could believe it.
So...
Why is that one on?
Yeah, right, hold on. Now, turn them all back on.
Okay.
So just give us one moment here, people. We've got 413 people in. It's great to see you all. Don't forget to
watching a
tickle.
flat screen.
Yeah, just give us a moment. Give us a moment. We're putting £1 in the meter. Are we good?
They're all back on.
So hopefully, oh come on, yeah. Oh.
You've broken
Just
it.
give me a chance, cupboard monkey. Why is? Oh come on, that one's not turned on.
All 4 of them are turned on. They're all blue.
Oh man.
What if you? Right, which one do I have to turn off?
Right, hold on. Right, turn them all off again. Sorry about this, people. Yeah, need to put £1 in the meter. Right, Pudham Junction has found the TARDIS, incidentally. Vobert Beckin says, "Are we in a tunnel?" Keith Pointer says, "Damn, Jennifer, you put the finger in the wrong place." I can't believe it. Right, anyway, so I'm just going to cycle through. Okay, and I'm going to go back to this one. Right, turn them all back on.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Stephen Cameron says, "Did anyone else hear a beep? I think it's just you." Jenny's banished herself. Not too bad, definitely. Adi Pullen says, "Kerno say across all." Oh, hold on. Right, so we do have some news here. Oh, it's jumped again. Where's it gone? Right, are we?
You are not coming back on.
Apparently, it's no. There we go. Yay! Fixed something. Right, it'd probably break when I change it again. Right, anyway.
Don't touch anything.
Right, Adi Pullen says, "Kerno says it's across all shops, not just Hattons," when I asked them last week. So, that is actually interesting news, and that goes to what I say, it's never normally what you think. I know a lot of people have been speculating online, and speculation does the hobby no good whatsoever. So, that then ties in.
No, my spectacles make me hear better.
Yeah, you'll have to speak up. You're wearing a towel. But certainly, it goes back to what I said, is it all depends on how successful the shop's been at selling out its pre-orders. If for whatever reason there's some kind of issue, because we've got to remember this, it could be a reduction in capacity at the factory, or it could even be something as simple as somebody dropped a shipping container overboard and like 10% of the entire order somewhere at the bottom of the Indian Ocean. And that does happen. It's not unheard of.
That happened to me. I spent an entire summer holiday at university making industrial filters to go to America for a factory, and then the boat they were on sank.
Yeah. So actually nobody ever got to test the quality of your merchandise.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, Russell Benton, absolutely. Turn it off and back on again, definitely. And Peter Laylard, it is definitely the joys of being live. Now, I used to do live radio, and that was always great, seat of your pants stuff. And in fact, going way back, when I used to do student radio at university,
goodness, back in the days of black and white TV,
we pioneered. And like, bear in mind, this was the 1990s, so none of your whiz-bang internet stuff going on then. We actually were the first ever student radio station to pioneer regular live sports broadcasts. Live from the middle of nowhere, and we did this with the aid of you're gonna laugh when
you
I
rolled
tell
the TV in, didn't you?
No, not that one. No, we covered the Grand Prix doing that, but no, we covered a football match, and we did it with a huge roll of extension cord. So, but what we did was we plugged in using we got a really high quality audio device that we used by people like ITN. and we used a phone line, and it was like a digital signal from peer to peer through the phone line. But then at the other end, where there was a phone line, it was in something like the cricket pavilion. So we got about 100 yards of extension cable from there to the reporter, and he just had to be careful how he ran about so he didn't tangle the cable. And he could actually run down, and like when they sent somebody off, he could try and interview them. And it was all done live, and nobody realised just how exciting that was. I mean, just to get that to work. We covered live gigs by the same way, because there was a venue above the studio. And so we actually surreptitiously, we fed a cable, an XLR type cable, up the cable run. We had somebody drop a lead weight on a piece of string down from upstairs, down the cable trunking in the building, fished it out at the bottom, tied our cable to it, hauled it back up, and we covered a whole like live music events. And the venue never worked out how we were getting a clean feed. And the truth was, we ran a cable through the trunking. Right. Leslie Dickinson says Jenny has been beamed up. Well, you know, you would think that with the name Kirk. Is it somebody did spot the TARDIS? Have you moved it? Oh,
the
you
doctor's moved it. I don't move it.
Ah, right, yeah.
That reminds me, the All Mass Media channel that we put together just before the pandemic hit. We had a plan, didn't we? We were going to review gigs of local bands.
Did we?
Yeah, I remember talking to you and your friend Pig.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to do reviews of bands. Basically, you would get their consent, go to their gigs, record the music and maybe a bit of video, and then you'd review it and perhaps get a chat with the band members. So at local bands that didn't have much of an audience would get a bit more audience. And then someone unleashed a plague on the entire planet, and now we can't do it. Right, Will Tucker. So annoying.
Yeah, actually, Wolfie Wolf, big hello to you. Says, I thought Zoe was going to say, I spent the entirety of a summer holiday at the bottom of an ocean. It was really difficult to breathe.
I had to hold my breath a lot, man. It was terrible.
Evening to you, Robert Fossey. Ben Tullett says... oh, sorry, you're answering somebody else's question. Richard Swiderski, a couple of ships lost containers in the storm. Yeah, and they actually pose quite a shipping hazard because they don't necessarily just sink straight to the bottom.
Yeah, they hang around for a bit.
They float just below the surface, and you can imagine...
They all float down here, Georgie. They all float, and you'll float too.
What?
It.
Oh, okay.
Stephen King's It.
Okay. But no, because they float just below the surface a lot of the time. And that means that they become quite a major hazard for shipping. Because you can imagine a 40-foot shipping container that is... are you causing a nuisance? Stop it. No, if that hits my train at high speed...
It wasn't meant to go that far.
Well, it does, yeah. So Garfian will have done his thing by now. But no, they float just below the surface. And you can imagine hitting that... A 40-foot shipping container at speed with a ship would probably put a nasty dint in the ship, maybe even hole it, which is not really what you want.
Dave Pippin, FB TV Entertainment, says, Jenny, is it true that every heritage railway in the UK has one diesel, just in case steam locomotives break down?
It's not a hard and fast rule, but the big holdout on that was always the Bluebell Railway. And then when they did their extension, the northern extension, to finally reconnect it back to the national network, what they discovered was hiring in a diesel locomotive. I believe they started with a Class 73, and then that moved on to a Class 09 and a Sentinel. Actually, they saved a fortune. And after many decades of being a steam-only line, they embraced why diesels were just so convenient. So I'm not aware of any preserved line which doesn't have any diesels, but there's no hard and fast rule. But they tend to find that they are quite useful.
Ben Davis says, can we have a look at the Jenny Kirk Railway Modeler article?
Well, there's two reasons why I can't. Firstly, copyright reasons. I'm afraid if you want to read that article, you do have to get hold of a copy of the magazine. I can't just show you that because that will get me in trouble, and it's really not a good thing to do due to copyright issues. Secondly, I lent my copy to my father so he could read it. So,
There's always the public library at W.H. Smith's.
yeah, the W.H. Smith's reading room. I always used to like going in there when you said to me, you said, "Oh, I'll meet you in Smith's." And I'd go in and there'd be all these people flicking through the mags. And I'd announce in a big loud voice, "Oh, Zoe, are you treating this place like a public library again, you blooming leech? Freeloader."
The amount of people who would just go beetroot red.
Yeah, bright red, put the magazine down and leave. And then you get to the counter and the sales staff are like, "Thank you for getting rid of those people." Right. James Hardy says, "Can we have an E2, please, Hornby?" Yeah, interestingly enough, I think an E2 might be up there on the cards from somebody. Skipsy Train says, "Hospital radio, playing albums accidentally at 45 RPM. Funnily enough...
Have we lost the mountain camera?
Which one is it? Oh, yeah, well, stop messing about, just...
Weird.
Yeah, yes, you have, apparently. You broke
The light's on.
You broke it!
The light is on now. It's on permanently now.
It's
Saying that's
crashed.
active.
It's crashed. Just leave it alone. We'll just not use it.
You've broken it.
Yeah,
You've broken it.
Right, the track "Staying Alive" by N Trance, when played at 45 RPM, actually I think sounded better. It had much more kick to it. But if you got the 45 RPM single, are you all right there?
Oh, I've just got a twinge in my arm like I've pulled a muscle. But I haven't moved the arm. It's like...
Oh, I sometimes get that.
Yeah.
It's called getting old.
I don't like this getting
Welcome
old,
to getting old. But no, Jolene by Dolly Parton. If you got that on 45 and played it at 33, it sounds really good, really dark, and it doesn't sound like you're playing it at the wrong speed. It just sounds like somebody else is singing it.
There was one song, and I can't remember who it was, but it was a female singer, and it was quite a poppy song. But if you half the speed, it sounded like a guy singing it with an acoustic guitar, like in a cafe.
I think it's Jolene by Dolly Parton.
It was so good.
Yeah, right. Garthian says, "TARDIS and Open Wagon behind the chat about midway up the screen." That must...
It was, yes. That was a while ago, Jim.
Oh, I'm well behind. Right. Gordon Hanning asks, "Please say hello to Linda Rose Sinclair, who's sitting in agony after painting the railway room today." Oh, I'm so sorry, but it'll be worth it in the end. So a big hello to you. Take it easy.
Oh, you'll love this one. Simon Trains Model Railway says, "I wonder if Hornby do a locomotive with an advert on it for Billy's replacement speakers."
That's because we need that on a t-shirt.
I will put it on a t-shirt for you, and it will just be in very, very small letters. "This t-shirt sponsored by Billy's replacement speakers."
Yes, with that picture of a speaker stack and some guy going, "Ah!"
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yes, you heard it here first.
McBetman1 says, "Hi Jenny, could you do a review on a Mammoth kit?"
I don't have one. They're not that easy to pick up, I guess.
I haven't seen a Mammoth kit for years.
Not since I was a kid, to be honest. Wellsworth Flyer says, "My fondest memory of the 90s was riding in the cab of a tank engine called Normandy on the Bluebell Railway. It was 1997. I was 13 years old and was visiting family that lived near the railway." Excellent. Yeah, definitely one of the Bluebell Railway regulars. Somebody else asked a question here somewhere. Skipsy Train says, "Hospital radio, we carried out live traffic reports using a similar length of cable outside the Sheffield Children's Hospital. I was the one who drew the short straw and was outside." Never underestimate the power of extension cord.
Yeah. My office practically runs off extension cords.
Yeah.
When I do my live streams, what you can't see is the amount of wires that are everywhere.
Right, Ron B says, "TARDIS near Jenny's hand." Oh, that's when it ran down the hill, thanks to you.
Yes.
Yeah, Wolfie Wolf, definitely. Hitting a shipping container just under the surface of the water is like hitting an iceberg, definitely.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Right. Ridgeway Park 00 says, when I did a bit for the BBC, we often had to find a location with ISDN to do live broadcasts. Yeah, we got stuff from Camford Audio in, I think they're up in Newcastle. You could hire stuff literally by the day. And we hired the thing where they were just like 2 boxes and you plugged them into the analog phone line. But it was like a forerunner of ADSL, but peer-to-peer. And you just dialed in the other extension. And because it was all on the university's internal network, which just spans the complete city of Durham, we were able to phone the cricket pavilion and do the live sport reports via that line. And it actually worked quite well, surprisingly enough. Right, big hello to 37418 East Lancashire Railway. Great to see you in as well. Whetstone Bridge too says, time to put the pizza on. Ooh. Yeah, pizza o'clock. I got you a couple of pizzas earlier on. James Pets, hi to you, says, incidentally, have you heard about the new announcement from OO Works? I haven't, no. Robert Fossey says, question, is there a handheld device to uncouple N-gauge wagons? Possibly you could make one, but I don't know. I'm not that familiar.
You made one, didn't you?
I did, but for 00.
Yeah. But you use the same system.
Andy 1962 says, cheers everyone, re-info. Hornby's website may have to place all my Hornby pre-orders on their website in future. Perhaps their plan all along. You pay full RRP, which is probably the reason that they've got stuff left to order, because effectively people have gone elsewhere first for the discount, and then that means that once all those slots fill up, my understanding is, from speaking with Simon Kohler in the past, is that at the start, so before any orders are placed, there's a certain amount allocated to the Hornby online. What happened there?
Oh, it's hard to stick the thing.
Yes, you're breaking my stuff.
Yes.
The Hornby shop is allocated an amount, so basically the online shop, the same way that all other retailers are allocated. That's simply how it works. So they're not increasing the orders for that or anything like that. It just simply happens to be that they have an allocation, and if that allocation has not been fully pre-ordered, then they will still appear as available to order. And that allocation, they treat the Hornby online website almost like an arm's length retailer. So it's not that they just go, oh, we'll have some more from somebody else's stack. It quite simply is that they are allocated an amount at the beginning.
Yeah, we've had this issue before, haven't we?
Oh, interesting. Stephen Dakin says, when I bought my copy of Weir Yards, the Weir Yard magazine, I think it's called Railway Modeller, but thank you.
There will be a magazine from us at some point.
Yeah, but Smith's had only 1 copy remaining on the shelf. That's right, peeps. Don't forget to get your orders in for the Railway Modeller March edition, and you too can see Weir Yard in the flesh and some amazing photographs, but more importantly, it has a full and almost 99% accurate track plan for Weir Yard. I found one error, which is that there's a crossover between the inner goods loop and where the locomotive TMD is, that is missing from that diagram, just so that people are aware. Right.
Jude Hockerhole says, do you have a Class 52 Western?
I do, yes. I can't remember which one, but it's in rail blue. All I know is it starts Western something or other. They all do. Oh, interesting. Garthian says MSS now do the Mamod Loco kits. Right. I have one. Interesting. McBenman1 says you can get a Mamod kit on Dream Steam. And Keith Pointer reminds us that the eBay is about as well. Chief89, oh my, only just noticed I hadn't actually also subscribed earlier. Oh my word, quick! Get me the president! Oh, my phone didn't like that. No, Siri, it's okay. We're not sponsored by Billy's replacement speakers. Right, yeah, Wamgok says it, Jenny, it's called a telephone balancing unit or a TBU. Yes. I mean, we're talking, this is like 25 years ago now. Egg Rider says, talking of extension cords, we swung a 30-foot MIDI cable down the outside of a tower block to play a 2-person computer game in uni between 2 computers before internet gaming. Actually, we did the same with BNC. Remember that?
You did.
We had a accommodation block LAN party back in 1999, I think it was, before people regularly had proper internet connections, and we played multiplayer Unreal on the deathmatch levels by stringing BNC under doors, down corridors, and to get to the floor below, I had a 30-foot length of the stuff, and I just like whacked it out of the window. The guy in the room straight underneath fished it back in, plugged it
Hello
in.
to Les Cliff.
Hello, Les. It's great to see you. I have been so missing you, Les. It's just this lockdown really is getting to be a bind because I have thoroughly missed having Les here as a guest on the Monday Club. So, Les, please, 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 as soon as we're able to, you'll have to come up and visit and come on the Monday Club.
Absolutely.
Right, let's see. Can we get another angle going, or is it broken? Oh, yes, up and running. I fixed it. I hit it with a big hammer. Where's my big hammer? Right, I hit it with my little hammer. Woohoo, yes. Precision adjustment, percussive maintenance, we used to call it.
Iron Horse Heathen says, Jen, can you help? I'm just running trains with you in the background like you're a radio show, but my Ginty has just started to short circuit.
Ooh.
It's DCC fitted and has been running fine all day. There's no smoke.
When you say it's short-circuiting, I presume that it's tripping the system out. And if you've got one of these, something like the DCC Concepts Alpha Meter, is it showing that the actual ampage is starting to climb up? That would suggest that your decoder is probably overheating and is causing a breakdown of the bridge rectifier. Now, you need to get that straight off the track and let it cool down for a start. Get it on the test track and just, check it out. Make sure that it can still be read. It may be worth taking the top off and just inspecting and making sure that you've not got any metal components that are making contact with, say, something on the chassis block, which could be causing a short. Just get that checked out. Don't risk it. Get it checked out.
Okay, we've had requests saying, are there going to be any videos tonight? There are, due to the fact that we had an interview earlier on and we don't have a huge amount of videos. I thought we'll start them a little bit later tonight.
No worries. So, Jerry BVR, big hello to you. Donegal Dad as well, great to see you. Daniel's OO Model Railways, hello Jenny. I'm wondering what is the cheapest way to DCC sound fit a Bachmann Class 37? Hornby TTS. In all honesty, Hornby TTS is going to be your cheapest way. Now, if it is a 21-pin locomotive, what you will need to do is to get the 21 to 8-pin adapter plate. But this is where the slightly awkwardness comes in. You can't just plug the 8-pin TTS decoder direct to that and get the body back on. It becomes too high off the chassis. So, I think I did do a video on this, so you might have to look back through the channel. You got a hacksaw, and you've got to be ever so careful if you nick any of the tracks on the main board on that 21 to 8-pin adapter, it will not work. But you've got to cut the 8-pin socket off cleanly, and what you'll be left with is the plastic socket's gone, and you have 8 little metal pins, like little studs in the board. They become your solder tabs, and you then have to remove the plug and correctly solder the 8 wires for the TTS decoder to those little stubs, and that will give you a 21-pin decoder, TTS sound decoder, to fit into a Bachmann 37. I would also suggest upgrading the speaker. Now, I have done that conversion, and it's on my to sort out list. The sound from the Hornby TTS speaker is a bit so maybe worth considering an upgraded speaker, but certainly can be done. I have done it. I fit a lot of TTS sound chips into Bachmann 21-pin locos, and it is a relatively easy thing to do. J. Paul Anderson says, Jenny, check out Vectis Auction. Some great rare stuff and not too bad prices either. Yeah, where are those as well? Tony Wright, Rapido UK is still setting up a UK bank account. Suggest you check Rapido UK website. Oh, I know that Rapido Trains have opened up a suggestions page on their website. If you want to suggest a model that they should be looking at, then it is well worth having a look there. And put a suggestion in, and obviously your suggestion is more likely to make it to manufacture if A, more people suggest it than just you, but also provide a reason. Don't just go, well, I really want this because I'll buy one. But if you've got pictures, if you've got, things like long-lasting, multiple liveries, wide geographic range, things like that, then it's certainly an area that you can put a suggestion in.
Now, you lost your train of thought there, didn't you?
Yep, it does derail. It does. Right. Let me just. Right.
So we've got a question. Will Parry says, "Great show as always. Thank you." Probably a common question, but do you have any idea on waiting times on Pico track?
I've said this before, and it's been like this all the way through lockdown. What you need to do is just bite the bullet and place an order with a retailer. Now, I spoke to Hattons, and I've spoken to Rails, and I've also spoken to Arcadia Models in Shaw and Bolton Model Mart as well. And what they're all saying is stocks are coming in, but it's basically going straight out the door again on pre-orders. So if you don't pre-order, don't get your order in, then when that stock comes in, it's going out the door before you ever see it. So if you get your order in for what you need, and it's just a waiting game. Pico are still making the track. Production levels are slightly lower than normal because they've got to make sure that it's a safe working environment and is COVID safe. So that's pushed down the amount that they're making. They are still making it. But then demand has gone through the roof. And it is something that I was watching What's Neat this week, and they were saying on there as well that Pico track supplies in the US are also being affected. So unfortunately it is a global issue, and you are most likely going to find the same with other manufacturers of track, although my personal favourite is always Pico.
I hate it when it does that.
Billy's replacement speakers!
Sorry guys if you just got that. Do you want to repeat what you just said? Before YouTube decided that I was going to play sounds over everything I was doing.
Yeah, supplies are still coming in. I noticed that Ken Patterson on the What's Neat This Week podcast was saying that they're struggling to get the Pico track in America as well. This is a global supply issue. And really, the only way to get track at the moment is to place an order and just wait. And it will come. You're just going to have to wait for it. Tom McKee says, got my copy of Railway Modeler on Thursday and went straight to the Weir Yard article. Good read and photos. Boom. Thank you ever so much, you guys, for your support. Don't forget as well to tickle the like button and also share this stream. Let other people know that we are live and dangerous. And if you haven't already done so, do consider subscribing to the channel.
So, are we going to be moving over to our videos now, Jen?
We will do in a moment. I'm just trying to get up to date on the comments and failing. But James Pett says, talking of multiplayer Unreal, did I miss Zoe's Quake stream? I believe you did.
Yeah, sorry. I gave up about an hour into the stream playing Quake on the Nintendo 64 because it's just the controls are awful and it made me cry and be unhappy.
Oh, Ham Shackleton tells me Les has been here from the start. And a big hello to Alex Faxon. I know that the comments do move so quickly. I do miss people. I don't mean to. And as I always say, if I haven't acknowledged your question, then leave it a little while and then ask again. I'm not ignoring you. It's just simply, it's so easy to miss stuff. Yeah, Jay also says about that Ginty, something on the chassis block. I think it's best get that thing off the track and have a look inside. But you really got to... you really got to check that out because that's only going to get worse, not better, if you're not careful.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Recommendation here from Daryl Hearn on the subject of speakers. It says, I buy my speakers from Rhodes and Rails. J. Paul Anderson asks, does anyone know how Graham Falston is doing? I have seen some Facebook posts from him. He does seem to be doing all right. I know his wife Hazel wasn't well, but I think things are improving. The posts are certainly more upbeat in tone, so we do wish him and his wife well. James Pets loves Rapido's suggestions page. I can see you on there going, and you can make this and make this and make this. And before you know it, James has put a list in for every single locomotive that has ever been made. Right.
Ian says, I would like to see a really big Gronk with a Jenny Kirk livery.
Gronk. Oh, that would be nice.
Lots of love, Jenny Cag.
Right, I'm going to try and move up to date. There's so many.
Because we've got
so many.
videos to show.
Okay.
We've got 12 13 of them.
And Chief 89, hello to you. Crossways Point Junction is heading off, so it's been great having you in. You take care. Hopefully see you later on. Liam at New Mills Model Railway, if you lose your pre-order, contact a smaller shop. There's plenty around online, and you never know, you'll be supporting a smaller retailer too. Yeah, I got my T9 Greyhound from Arcadia Models over in Shaw. That's going to be the subject of Wednesday's video, but certainly they still had several of those. I know it's shown as sold out from a number of other locations, so they are definitely out there. And like you say, always support your local model shop, because it's use them or lose them.
Yeah, once they're gone, they're not coming back, guys.
Definitely. Gwian Reese Davies says, Jenny loves ignoring comments. There's just so many of you here. I don't love ignoring comments. You like stirring
You love
away.
ignoring my comments.
That is absolutely correct. But as for you guys' comments, no, I do look forward to them all. And it's just, there's so many comments. Right, we're going to be moving on now to some of your videos. So first up, we've got Lee Holden.
Yes, this is the one that came in last week and we didn't have time for because he'd already shown one earlier in that episode. But what we have here is a Model Railway 2021 video with his new Hornby GNR Coaches.
Oh, they are good. They're 4 and 6 wheelers. And the Great Northern Railway livery. They're selling out quick, but one thing I will say is I spotted that Hereford Model Centre does still have stocks of those if you are looking for the Great Northern Railway liveried versions. Now this is where we find out whether, I'm just going to wait for me to appear on screen.
It's all right. We should be okay. We've got the sound off now.
Yeah, but am I... Oh, hello Creeping Jane, great to see you.
Now this is an interesting and quite active railway. We've got a lot of stuff going on, lots of different tracks. Yes, and I do love that National Railway Museum Ivet C1 in the Great Northern Railway green livery. I've got one exactly the same, lovely model, being overhauled by what looks like something like Silver Fox, or Quicksilver, or could be Silver King as well, or Silver Link. Is that a J83 going around in the background? So we've got 3 different trains moving at once. Those blue coaches are quite interesting.
They are. They're the LMS Coronation Scott coaches. But I do love the Great Northern Railway ones. They do look something special going around. It has to be said. There's a lot going on with this layout. Definitely a lot of track work. There's certainly a coach that I would like to get. We will be doing a review on some of the new liveries that have come out. One thing I will say, though, is that I've noticed on some of the websites, I need to inquire with Hornby about this, that some of the coach liveries do appear to have been pushed back to the autumn. So we've had the full break in London and North Western Railway livery, but the other coaches to match are now saying sometime in the autumn. So I need to check that up with them, because it was my understanding that they were due during February. London and South Western Railway liveries as well also look like they have been pushed back as well. What this does mean is that the Hattons Project Genesis may have been handed a little bit of a coup there, because if they can get out to market quickly on some of those liveries, they're going to do quite well.
Dave Pippin says, Jenny, what's your favourite steam locomotive in real life? And also diesel locomotive as well. You're a big fan of the Flying Scotsman, aren't you?
No, I'm not. Diesel locomotives, I don't think there's a specific one. I do like the Class 7s, Class 8s. I love all shunters. But steam locomotives, I do quite like the J94s, the Hunslet Austerities. Keith Pointers, I think, is heading off, but also Ron B, stay safe to you. It's been great having you in the stream. Gwen Reese Davies says, Hornby's coaches have been quite a big hit. I look forward to comparing them to Hattons when they land. Yeah, me too. One of the things as well that has to be said is that if you've got the light fitted ones, it's something that Brian Moser, who's in the chat somewhere as B Moser, showed a photo of his BR Crimson liveried coach with the lights on, but with his actual railway room lights down. And he says, what are they actually lighting these things with? Depleted uranium? Because you can actually see the glow through the sides of the carriage.
What's wrong with that?
Yeah, well, actually, the green one, the southern. In fact, actually, that's another livery that's now saying autumn. I don't know whether that is going to be the case, but I've actually got the 6-wheel Southern Railway lit up coach, and it appears that I'm the only person in the country who has one. So what have we got here? Are these pictures? Oh, I see a TARDIS.
Yes, so this one is Logan Clary, and it's just photographs.
Mhm.
It's his first model and his newest model in the same place.
So, well, that's the Hornby 00 Royal Mail coach. I loved them as a
It's
kid.
a very interesting looking locomotive.
Yeah, well, that's a warship. I don't know whether it's a class 42 or 43. I'm afraid I'm not nuanced enough to tell them apart.
It's got an interesting look to it, and here's his newest one. So that's, Jen, do you want to have a look? I don't know which one that is.
That looks like a DVT. Yeah, I think that's a DVT, driving vehicle trailer.
Oh, nice.
We've got a TARDIS there, and behind it we've got a class 91 in Intercity livery. So yeah, looking good there, my friend. Looking good.
Very nice. Do you want to swap back over to your screen while I fiddle on?
Definitely. Jay.
Thank you for those, Logan.
Andy 1962 says Chinese factories often close this time of year for Chinese New Year. Also, skilled factory workers can earn better money in electronics factories, definitely, and it's one of the reasons that prices are going up. That the factories have to pay a competitive wage, because otherwise a lot of the staff will just walk over the road to where they're making the iPhones and get a very good wage for what can often be seen as being easier work. Right, are we ready for...
It's not easier work to make an iPhone.
Well, no, apparently it's very well paid.
It is very well paid.
Right.
But it's still not an easier work.
So
So this one's Richard Swiderski.
Okay,
I'm trying to find the button to press to make it work. There you go.
Okay.
So what have we got here?
That's the Janus Shunter from Oxford Rail, same livery that I've got, but with the matching ICI Salt Division wagons, again from Oxford Rail. It's a great set. I did a video reviewing them. Hattons were doing a great price on them. So really great if you want to do a sort of an industrial layout. One of the things as well, which is very, very easy to do, I fitted mine with the DCC Concept Stay Alive Power Pack, and it's quite an easy fit in there in the end, and it does make it a very, very reliable locomotive.
They're very bright as well, aren't they? It's got a nice look to it. The colours on the it's bright and very nice.
Yeah, and they do quite a few different liveries. So yeah, Tom McKee, hello to you. Garthian and Wolfie Wolfgang TARDIS, Richard Swiderski as well. Houston Whap says TARDIS, I saw it too. Gwian Reese Davis says, yeah, I had the light bleeding through my coach. The magnetic switch on mine is rather finicky. Also still a good coach though. Andy 1962 loves the ICI loco and wagons, as does Leslie Gilpin. Poshington 01 says, Wolfie Wolf, low maintenance and the fact that the coal they burn is poor quality and a large amount of it just being... that's answering somebody else's question. Clive Cobold is popping off. It's been great having you in. So you take care. Hopefully see you next week.
Okay, our next video is another short one. It's going to be quite interesting. This is Tim Condrell. It's a Bachmann duck going over his new viaduct.
Oh, the Bachmann duck. So these are not on sale in the UK yet, but will be shortly. So do look out for these. The Thomas the Tank Engine range is starting to come through. I know that Rails of Sheffield have had full delivery of the ones that are currently available. I think there's 4 different locomotives. I think so far the UK has officially had Percy, Thomas, James and Gordon. So certainly is the case. They're going to sell out quick. Really looking forward to seeing how that range develops. I'm actually looking forward to getting a Henry, because when little nephew Henry visits, I think he'll appreciate having...
Which thing have you pressed?
Number 2. Right,
It's gone off again. Right, you're going to have to just use that one while we're finishing.
Some of the cameras are getting finicky.
Thank you so much, Chief. You're very, very generous. Thank you so much.
Chief89, very generously on the super chat, given €4.64. It says, great show. Thank you ever so much. That is so, so generous, and it does help so much to help us to produce the videos that you want to see. I should also at this point as well give it a really great shout out to Peaks47 LMS Railway. Asked me to give a shout out to him. I completely forgot until now. He may have posted in the chat. But a big shout out to Peaks47. Do head on over, check out his YouTube channel, and also Scale Model Scenery as well. And we are looking forward to welcoming Scale Model Scenery on board as the sponsor of the Monday Club from next week for a period of at least 4 weeks. So really looking forward to that. Got a great range of models through the Scale Model Scenery website. So we will be having links and such not from next week, and you'll see that branding on the screen. We did do a full video showing some of their models with the brazier and the bonfire kits that we fitted from Scale Model Scenery. Yeah. Very, very nice, really setting off around the church and scrapyard area on the model. But they do a full range of all manner of different bits and pieces. You may also have seen on the Jenny Monday Club Facebook page that we've been sharing a lot of their products as well, just to let you know that they are there. Well worth going and having a browse on the Scale Model Scenery website. And like I say, from next week, we're really, really grateful to have them on board as the Monday Club sponsor. So do look out for that, and we will have a specific link for you to follow to browse their full range of products.
We've got an interesting question here. Daniel's 00 Model Railway. Does Zoe have the Nintendo 64 game Banjo-Kazooie? I do.
Yes,
I have it on the Nintendo 64, and I also have it on the Xbox One by the Rare Replay Collection.
Do you not have a PS2 version?
Not of a Nintendo and Xbox game, no.
I'm sure that Banjo-Kazooie came out.
No, you're thinking of Ratchet and Clank.
Okay.
So, we have
Paul
another...
Weaver, hi to you. I'm just sorry, just Woven Model Railway as well. I placed some pre-orders with Hattons on day of announcement. They have now cancelled some. Any idea what has happened? Now, I've been told somebody said that they'd spoken to another retailer, and these cancellations are across the board. It's not restricted just to Hattons, but it may well appear to have hit Hattons hardest because they have been so successful on selling pre-orders. It appears that for whatever reason Hornby has had to scale back on the amounts allocated to the shops. There may be a production issue, we don't actually know. But as we said before, if say Hornby has said, look, we can't fulfill 10% of what we said we were going to be able to give you, then if Hattons have sold out on pre-orders but other retailers haven't, then other retailers can maybe not be so badly affected, because so effectively what they're not being supplied is ones that they haven't yet pre-sold, but Hattons has. Then it's going to look bad for Hattons, but actually it just shows how successful they've been. So as far as we're aware, the cancellations are across the board, across across retailers. So don't blame Hattons. It's just unfortunate that because they have been especially successful with keen pricing in attracting people to pre-order with them, then it is disparagingly hit them harder.
That's just how it is. So, shall we jump to the next video? This is North End Sidings, also now known as Iron Horse Heathen. And
right,
North End Sidings is dead. That's what it says.
So, a new model.
That's the video. The North End Sidings is dead. That's what it's...
Oh! Track harvesting. Yes, I remember doing that on a layout. I actually did an article for Model Rail a good few years, about 10 years ago, on recycling track. And it's actually amazing how much you can recycle.
It always looks a little bit heartbreaking, though, doesn't
it? It does. But, as I say, for something new, sometimes you need to start again. A modular layout, obviously great for taking to exhibitions, great for moving house. Taking place names and styling cues from the classic video game series Fable.
Oh,
yeah,
I
you
like
know about
Fable.
That. So we're going to have two modules, so it's top and bottom module and a side module. It's an interesting track plan there as well. That looks very, very interesting. So yeah, first module will be Oakvale. You'll laugh at it. It means nothing to me.
It's the starting point for your hero.
Ah, yes.
And I loved Fable. A lot of people, oh my goodness, are you going for that style? Oh my goodness, Jen, look at that. That is just amazing. That's the game. Then he shows the other bits. And wow. Albion Railway, yes.
The guitar.
Oh.
Get your guitar.
Coming soon. The style he's got on this it's just wonderful.
Yeah, and it's always great to have an all-new project. So let's have a read some of the comments as well. So Brian Stone says, thanks for this evening's show. See you next time. Thank you ever so much for joining us. It's been great having your company. Within Model Railway, no, Hornby and Hattons have not fallen out. So we're just... we need to squash any rumours on that from the outset.
The last thing the community needs is rumours.
Definitely.
I love... Yeah, everyone's saying Fable's a great game. I absolutely loved it. For me, it was just...
Anyway.
There's a brilliant technique in it. You can get more money and XP for doing quests if you brag first that you're going to do it without any armour. So you end up doing the quest in your pants.
Okay, I'll take your word for that.
And he wears a Union Jack pair of shorts.
Okay, well, I tell you what, save all this for the Game Hammer Classic Gaming game streams, and I'm sure that Zoe will jibber-jabber away to her heart's content about all things boring in computer games. But anyway, UKX Greenie, big hello to you, great to have you in. Cameron S was looking at 009 Locos today. But I could swear that Pico and Kato were doing Festiniog locos like the Double Fairly and other locos that preserve land. Yes, Double Fairly and the Englands as well, which are the things like Prince and Welsh Pony. I did have a look around. I was struggling to find any time frames from them. They were supposed to be coming out in Q1 this year, I believe. I will drop an email to Pico and just check that that is still the case, make sure there's not been any delays. I'm hoping to see them soon because actually that announcement is really what tipped me into thinking, you know what, I want to build an 009 layout, so I'm really looking forward to them.
So we've got a question here for me. Where's it gone? It's just disappeared. Someone was asking whether I'm a Game of Thrones fan. I'm sorry, your question has jumped off the screen, so I can't remember who said it. But I was a Game of Thrones fan. Do you want me to start?
Yeah.
I was a Game of Thrones fan.
So we've got Skipsy Trains here.
Until we got to probably the end of, I think it was Series 4, where Daenerys is being carried along on the shoulders of a bunch of black slaves that she's just freed, and it just looks like a white saviour thing. And it's like, that really jarred badly with me. So I didn't like it, and it kind of put me off after that.
I do love Skipsy's viaduct. Actually, I think Skipsy shared some photos on the Facebook
he sent us a message. Good evening, Jenny and Zoe. Hope you're both well.
Good evening.
During last week's Monday Night Club, I promised to forward images of my viaduct. Now it is grassed embankment. But in my haste, I forgot to press the send button on the email. So please find attached my latest video, which shows the viaduct with its embankment.
There we are. There it is.
Beginning of the month.
There it is. Oh, now that does look great.
It looks amazing. It's looking real, and it's brilliant. And then it goes on to say, it's still lots to do, with bits and pieces making good on the water needs to be completed along with the sky. But I posted pictures of the viaduct in its current state on the Monday Club Facebook group, should anyone wish to see.
That is nice. I do love a good viaduct. I love a good A4 as well. And those Hornby teaks are really nice as well.
It is a very nice looking viaduct. He's done really well with that.
4 parallel tracks with ladder junctions on there as well. That is really, really nice, it has to be said. So always a pleasure. Nice to see it with the grass and vegetation starting to creep in. I believe he shared some views of this on the Facebook group page. So
that's
there's
what I just said for me, Slowhead.
Go via or go home says nice looking railroad. First time here.
It's very nice. Yes.
Thank you ever so much. Great to have you aboard. J94 asks, are the Bachmann Thomas models good runners? I believe they are.
A lot of Bachmann you can pretty much guarantee.
Yeah, that's one thing that Bachmann do well. Within Model Railway says, I was able to switch to Hornby Direct. I know a lot of people are doing that. I think because Hornby are charging full RRP, they tend to be the last people to fill up on the pre-orders. So I know a lot of people have kind of read into that and say, oh, well, they've still got stuff available. Why is this? And it's simply because they're the most expensive. So,
you go for the cheaper ones first. Anyone would.
Yeah, I am enjoying actually these trains running by. I love the double deck layout. So the way that underneath the viaduct and the river, you can see there's another level, and it's a great sized layout. I think you've got more space than I have actually So I am quite jealous. I look at these and think, I really want a big viaduct.
Stubby1085 says, why do I get such a tingling feeling just now? Maybe it's the positivity instead of focusing on something negative. It's weird. You've been on the internet too long, man. We're always positive here if we can be. Right. Do you want to move on? Wow. Actually, that's
I'm
nice
loving this. Yeah.
Nice.
James Pett says, splendid viaduct. James Pett does like a good viaduct. I'd have thought you said you do approve of a good viaduct. Creeping Jane, hi to you. Richard Swiderski as well says, great viaduct. UKX Greenie loves it. Houston Whap. Leslie Gilpin, Ben Tullett, lots of people loving this viaduct. This is something special, and it's been an honour to actually watch this develop. So I like as well, you've got the slightly weathered look on the top there with the closest line. Really nice. It starts to bring it all alive. Really, really does.
Am I right in thinking this is one of those layouts that we've seen right from the start as it built up?
Yes.
Yeah. And we said everyone get in on the ground level to watch it being done. Yeah. Excellent.
Robert Becking does warn, though, Hornby don't use a trunk, and this is the Hatton's Trunk of Funk, where you can actually get them to effectively store up your orders until you can have them posted out in one big lump to save on postage. So you can end up paying a lot more in postage, just to watch out. Larry Rogers says, Jenny, scenery installations are ongoing on the LARR. I've been using a lot of techniques you have described. You are invited to view the results on my YouTube page. Oh, brilliant. Thank you very much. And don't forget as well, you can share your YouTube videos with us to show on the Monday Club by emailing the link. Please don't email as an attachment and put Monday Club in the title.
We saw what happens when you attach.
Yeah, and send that to Zoe at zoerobinson.com.
Now,
I
Mark
love this
Holt
triangular
has a very
junction.
interesting question here.
Yes?
Says he's not trying to knock Skipsy, but he has a question about it. In real life, would viaducts actually house points and crossovers like that?
Potentially, yes. For example, I believe that there are points and crossovers on the King Edward Bridge on the approach to Newcastle Central Station.
That makes a lot of sense given where Newcastle's station is.
Yes. And, for example, at Astley Bridge Junction, as was, on the Bolton to Blackburn line, that junction, and actually the junction signal box was in the V of the two viaducts. It was completely on a viaduct. So yes, point work on a viaduct, absolutely.
Fair enough, and it's a good question. If you don't know, you've got to ask.
But I'm loving it's such a pleasant place.
Now there's a boat on there as well. I
One
wonder
thing,
whether that's got a basement conversion.
yeah. Is there more of the video? Oh no, so it's the end of the video. I really enjoyed that actually. Thank you ever so much, Skipsy, for sharing that with us. Do we have anything further?
We have 5 more, but we're at 9 o'clock.
Oh come on!
So what do you want to do? Do you want to keep
let's
going?
juice box these out.
Let's go then.
We're going to keep going with some of these videos. Don Gets Model Railway says, yes, there's a lot of South London on continuous viaducts like that. Lots of point works on them, definitely. Stevie Film, big hello to you.
But it's like we've always said, if you don't know, you've got to ask, otherwise you'll never know.
Yeah, there's a lot of people giving locations.
Excellent.
And Flymo Chairman 1, thanks for sharing the details on how to actually send video links in. Cameron S says, do Hattons or Rails do price match? They tend to be pretty keenly priced. They're generally considered to be some of the lower prices in the market. I know a lot of other retailers do price match with them. So, for example, Tim at Arcadia Models Insure will price match with Rails and Hattons.
Coldhaven Engage has a good point here. Need more Engage locomotives, as not everyone has the room for 00. To be honest with you, given the size of modern build houses, that's going to become more and more of an issue as time goes on.
Definitely, absolutely definitely. Right, we've got the next video. This does look very interesting.
This is from Chris's Trains, and it's an Army train and mash unit.
Oh, I'm really loving this.
This is amazing.
Look at the sign. It's got so many cues from MASH, I'm guessing. US Army Field Hospital. All these vehicles as well with some lovely camouflage. And look, there's that flickering brazier. I'm guessing that's from Scale Model Scenery or some such similar company. That's like what we've got. But it's always nice to see the US outline stuff here. So we've got the the flat car train with all of the military vehicles on.
I
And
love
it's
it.
a great way, actually, of having a collection of military vehicles. You just sort of load them up onto flat cars. So I believe we've seen this layout before, but this is probably the first time we focused on this corner.
Best care anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, you slice them, we dice them.
Oh.
Yeah. But really loving this. And I think is it the Lionel 3 rail track? Really nice. But again, a lovely collection of military vehicles there. Really quite a good amount of variety. And the caboose on the end. I love a caboose. But is it 2 cabooses or 2 caboose? Oh, what's that? Wednesday is something Prince Spaghetti Day, because you can never have too much spaghetti. I do like that. Thank you ever so much for sharing.
That was really good. Thanks very much, Chris's Trains.
Cameron S asks, did you get a discount code for Rails of Sheffield? It's okay if not, as I know the final decision is down to Rails. They are currently considering the option. At the moment, I don't think their website has the means to put in promotional codes, but they are upgrading it, and they have said that they will get back to me on that. So it is in the works. So it's just simply a case of waiting and seeing. So the next video I see we've got from Simon Trains, and this is the Manor Cab ride. I believe he mentioned this when Acura Scale were on the stream earlier on. So we get an advert.
I keep pressing the wrong button and the advert keeps coming back up. Get off the screen.
Right. So
okay. So yes, this is Simon Trains.
So you make it full screen and you hit play. And
there we go. And this is an actual Manor footplate ride.
Oh, a ride on the footplate at Didcot, the GWR 175th celebrations in 2010.
Yes, he says it's one of his earliest videos that he's filmed from YouTube. He loves the Monday Club and asks that you keep them coming. Oh,
brilliant! Thank you ever so much, and thank you so much for sharing this with us. And it's I've only ever a couple of times got a footplate ride on a steam locomotive, and it is a magical experience. City of Wells was the last one that I got a ride on. Although City of Wells has a tender cab back, so you don't quite get this sort of open view at the back. But this is really nice, and of course Didcot Railway Centre sits sort of in the triangle, so it's surrounded, I believe, on all sides by active main lines, which is quite an interesting location. Right. Yeah, Within Model Railway points out it's moose and mooses. So I think Pete Clark says, "Oh no, caboose again." You know, you got to watch out for those caboose. They do take over if you're not careful.
This is an amazing model railway. It looks so real.
It does actually. It's good. Cameron S says, I like the operational capability of an American layout with top and tailing, double, triple heading, etc. Yeah, and the really long American trains actually have some radio-controlled locomotives in the centre, which can be quite interesting. Hayden Warrior says, Didcot Railway Centre, I'm a member of that. Excellent. GWR, yay, they say as well. Richard Swiderski says, lovely video. I had a cab ride in Foxcote Manor years ago. Wolfie Wool says, I got to help start the old mining loco at Ironbridge Museum even. Gwion Reese Davies, been on a bucket and a rail motor so far. Ben Tullett says, Wi-Fi just threw me off the internet. I don't like technology. Yeah, I
don't get Jen started on technology.
And Chief89 says, the point of view is nice. It is, and if we were playing the sound, I'm guessing the sound would be quite special as well. But obviously...
You're okay with swapping, were you? Yeah. Turn it back off again then.
Right, because obviously we're on until we can't.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that
we can't hear the sound that the computer that is playing the videos is playing, because that is screened out on the console.
We could if you had your headphones on, but if you had your headphones on, you couldn't talk to me.
Funnily enough, I found that actually it doesn't howl around when I did.
It would.
Zoom.
No.
Oh, look. EWS 66 crawling past. Oh, just behind the tree.
The
we've
reason
been
that
bowled by
you
the
don't get a
tree.
howl around on Zoom and things like that is because it has a filtering mechanism.
It's very good as well.
Yeah. From what I can tell, and this is experiments I did, they basically invert the waveform and then add it to what you're saying.
Yep. Richard Swiderski suggests that a canal boat basement conversion is a swimming pool. Definitely. Right. Skipsy Train says, thanks for the kind words on the viaduct. I love a viaduct. One thing I would suggest is maybe get a piece of light coloured card, but either paint it like a light sky blue or even dapple on some clouds and just slide that down and sort of pin it to the wooden beams, and it'll give a really great backdrop to all of that and really bring it to the fore. But really loving this cab ride. Did you say we've got some more videos to go as well?
A couple more. David Scott says it's not very much fun running tender first when it's raining and you forgot your storm sheet.
I can imagine, certainly in the winter as well.
Just a little bit.
Right. Andy 1962, yes, the email for sending links, please don't attach it as a file, is zoe@zoerobinson.com.
Yeah, don't send us attachment. I will just delete them because I am getting every day now messages from Google saying you've got 15 gigabytes of stuff.
I think you need a purge. And also, it does help her find it if you put Monday Club in the message title. So now, we've got a video here from Southern Trading Girl, so really looking forward to this.
And this one you might like, because it's a pink one.
Ooh, O-Gauge Schools Class Loco Running Session. This is the pink one. Right, I'm really excited by this, actually. I love that sort of, like, brief encounters look to that.
It's very nice, isn't it?
So, really...
Have I pressed play?
Yes, you have. Yeah. I do like unusual liveries on locomotives. One of my particular favourites is people putting locomotives into rail blue with tops that didn't necessarily get that. So, is it
Cutton and Districts?
Cutton
and Districts.
But you know,
nice font.
Yeah, I really like seeing diesel. Oh, there we are. There's the pink schools. So, yeah, with the white roof as well. Oh, it's in an O gauge. Oh, gauge. Gosh, so that
looks like a 3-rail track.
Yeah, it looks like Hornby O gauge. It might even be bigger. It might even be gauge 1. But that is a surprisingly nice colour. It does work.
Yeah.
There's a great deal of fun with these large-scale tinplate type things. And you can see there, people just sitting back and enjoying. I mean, a real locomotive in that colour scheme would be absolutely hell to keep clean. But that is really, really nice. As I'm thinking that the heat in this smoke box would tend to cause the paint to discolour. So one of the reasons that smoke boxes tend to be painted black, they use like a stove paint that is designed for high temperatures because it's getting blasted with the gases off the fire. It tends to, smoke boxes do get very hot, and I can attest to this because my father's first Garrett road locomotive, over the course of a weekend of heavy road running it, we actually burnt all the paint off the smoke box, the top half of the smoke box, and all the chimney. And as we were charging the hills at full pelt, all you could smell was burning paint because he used the wrong paint. He just used ordinary gloss paint.
Yeah, you can't do that.
And we were sort of like followed by this plume of crispy bits of paint that were floating off and disappearing. And on the second day, we had like a little bit of like a morning dew, and it all rusted.
Oh,
yeah, because it was down to bare metal.
Okay,
Frank,
we have one final video. So
okay.
Whatever you're saying, don't worry.
So Creeping Jane says nail varnish on that livery. Flymer Chairman 1 says it's salmon. Southern Train Girl, it's O gauge course scale. The loco is by Ace Trains. Right? Yes, I do know. So what do we got here? This is Liskirth with Bachmann Thomas the Tank Engine. So if you make that full screen, And again, I love viaducts.
Anyone else got
Yes. Now stop it. That does actually remind me of the opening to the thing. It always had a windmill in the corner.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
So let's get this. I bought this for my son for his first birthday last week. It's great fun.
I love that backdrop as well. The photographic backdrop works so well.
It's a wonderful looking thing.
It does work well. And this very dramatic viaduct. The one in the foreground as well looked really, really good. But as you can see, slow speed running does seem to be pretty good.
Yeah. That is a really nice looking layout.
So we've been putting the links up in the description. We've got a few people drifting away. We're down to 331 people in. We are running a little bit long this week because we're just getting through some of the videos. Was this the last one?
This is our last one.
So this is the last video. So
that is
after...
a lovely looking layout.
It
looks
is actually
real.
I mean, it's lovely.
The grass looks real.
It does, but I mean, this is kind of when the Henry in the Thomas the Tank Engine range comes out in the UK. I am tempted to get one, if only so that I can impress my little nephew Henry when he visits. But it's a lovely layout, and the Bachmann Thomas the Tank Engine range is really good for entertaining small children when they visit.
That's a hell of a layout.
That bridge in the foreground, I love the weathering on the piers as well, and modelled at low tide. It reminds me a little bit of Loo when the tide went out, and that's Loo spelled L-O-O-E for all those people who are sniggering. You get these sort of acres of mud and seaweed in the River Loo estuary mouth. I do like those clerestory coaches as well at the background there. They actually are really nice. I'm assuming they might actually be the Hornby Railroad ones, but the finish is impressing me a lot. I might have to look into them.
Talking of Thomas the Tank Engine, shall we tell them about our plans for a comedy animated short?
Oh, Larry the Locomotive.
Yes. Larry the Locomotive. He's just going to... my idea is any time that we have one of those shorts, it would basically be the viewer at the start would be thinking, where is he? What's he going to screw up this time?
Yeah. What's he done now? Yeah. Oh, you've got the that's the Pico laser. Yeah. I built one of those when they first came out. It's a really lovely kit, it has to be said.
It is.
I like the interior detail and the lighting. Now, those are mods that I really want to do with mine, it must be said. So you've given me some inspiration there. I do want to do something. Oh, chase cam. I do love a good chase cam. But the scenery, lovely, dramatic scenery.
So good. That grass, it just looks real. It's like moorland.
Yeah. Really, really nice here. I love bridges. Bridges are some of my favourite things to model. So it's nice to see actually some of the other areas on this layout. And the back scene as well.
Yeah.
It appears to be a photographic back scene, but you've got that slightly washed out into the distance look, which is
exactly
great.
what it would be like if it's in the distance.
Definitely. So we're going to round up now. So
Gary Lewis says, reminds me of Camberwick Green and Trumpton.
Yeah, time for Trumpton. Pew, pew, burning the groove, cuthbert, dibble and drum.
Are you eating my crisps?
Yeah, no. Right, look, thank you ever so much for that. It's been great having your company. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, do tickle that like button, share the stream as well, and subscribe to the channel if you've not already thought to do so. And we'll be back next Monday. In the meantime, we've got pre-recorded video on Wednesday, which is going to be the Hornby T9 in London and South Western Railway P Green. We've got a full review of that as part of the 2020 Centenary range. Did manage to get my hands on one. Really looking forward to this model. So glad I finally got one. We've got the full review of that. Friday is going to be an interview. It may be the Ben Jones one that I'll be recording tomorrow. We might be bumping that up because the Hellion Class 25s in 00 are imminent. I believe they're coming out into the shops within the next week, with the Ethels following close on the heels. And tomorrow morning I've got an opportunity to interview Ben Jones about these and talk a little bit about not just the 25s but the whole of the Hellion range. And I will of course be talking to you a little bit about what it means to get those awards in the O gauge categories and the 009 categories in the model rail awards of 2020. I've also filmed a interview with Ken Patterson of What's Neat This Week fame, and I'm really looking forward to getting that out as well. It was going to be Friday's interview, but we might be juggling stuff around. We've also got full interview with Fran Burke of Acrua Scale. Really grateful that Fran stopped by on Friday to talk to us a little bit about the Acrua Scale Mana class that broke cover way back on Monday of last week. Also, Daypol did want to come on, but because of scheduling clashes and other things going on, they weren't able in the end to record the interview. But hopefully we might be able to get something from Daypol as well about their Mana class. Certainly, again, that looks to be a great model too. And if you want to find out more about the Daypol Mana, they have posted some information to the Daypol TV YouTube channel, which you can go and watch. What else do we have coming up?
Probably a load of stuff, but I do have one question from a guy. I think he's asked it a couple of times. And
Right,
he hasn't
yeah,
answered
yes.
yet. Hayden Warrape says, do you have a Hornby Grange? If so, how does it run?
I don't, it has to be said, although, or do I?
You have so many locomotives you can't remember.
I think I might actually. Knight of St. Patrick, is that a Grange or a Saint?
Honestly, couldn't tell you.
All my Hornby locomotives do run pretty well. If it's a fairly modern super detail loco, then I would say it's going to be pretty good. I do have Knight of St. Patrick. If somebody knows if that's a Grange or a Saint or a Star or whatever it is, then that runs absolutely perfectly. So no problems whatsoever with that. But until next time, this is just...
One more question.
Uh-huh.
Chief89, who is a guy who turns up on a lot of my streams, so thanks for coming across, Chief, says, is Roco still a thing anywhere? I think I had a little Roco layout some time ago.
Roco is definitely still on the go, doing European outline stuff, and particularly big on HOE, which over in the UK runs on the same track as 009. I do actually have a Roco locomotive.
You have a Roco Loco?
A Roco Loco, indeed I do.
And
But-
everyone's telling you that it's a Saint.
So I do have a Saint.
And then everyone else is saying it's a Star class.
So I have a Star.
Yeah, Knight of St. Patrick's a Star class, apparently.
Right, okay, no worries. Well, that's the one I've got. Unfortunately, yes, I have about 240 odd locomotives, so
And you
it
can't
is
remember them
easy to lose track.
How many Gronks have you got? The
Um,
answer is not enough.
yes, then I would go with that.
Gronk
See,
it
she
up.
says I can get some more.
Gronk it up.
Zoe says I can get some more, so I'm going to take her gaming budget and spend it on Gronks, and everything's good, isn't it? Right, and on
I'm
that
not
note...
saying anything. I've just ordered a game from the 70s, so I'm happy.
Yeah, yes you are. Yeah, the 70s called. They want their game back.
We can't have it. I want to play it. It's mine
But
now.
look, anyway, you guys, you take great care of yourself. And again, thanks to Fran Burke for coming on. It was great to do that interview. The full version of that interview will be coming out in the next few weeks. But it was great as well to see Acrua Scale in the comments answering some of your questions as well. So until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying you take great care of yourself. Happy modelling. And don't forget as well, we'll be welcoming on board next Monday the all-new sponsor of the Monday Club, Scale Model Scenery. And we'll have a link for you and some information on their products as well. Really looking forward to that. I'm really thanking them for their support. Also, thank you all you guys who donated through the super chat as well. It very gratefully received and does go a long way to help the channel keep on going. But until next time, this is me, Jenny Kirk, saying take care. Bye for now.
train now departing on the 2126 Express locomotives from Weir Yard, travelling to Bolton Trinity Road, Grove Street Yard, Minetatis, and returning next week to Weir Yard. That is the 2126 Express locomotives from Weir Yard. If you go up to the loft today, They're sure of a big surprise. If you go up to the loft today, you'll never believe your eyes. For every train there ever was has gathered there together, because tonight's the night that Jenny does the Monday Club. Good night.